Hello, welcome back to Truthseekerstea. My name is Kate and I'm thankful to have you here for today's Pick a Card reading. This channel mainly focuses on love readings and personal development. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure you hit the subscribe button. So for today's reading, we're going to be looking at how the person on your mind or this person viewed you then versus how they view you now. And we are going to be looking at both sides of this. So it's going to serve as an energy check-in. On the left side, I'm going to be hoping to pick up on how you viewed your person in the past and then how you view them now as well. And we're going to do, essentially, we're just going to be doing both sides of it. And so if it's flip-flop, flip the energy and just try to make sure that one side does resonate for you. So there will be an extended reading as well as usual. And each pile is going to have a slightly different topic, just depending on what seems most helpful intuitively to go into further. So for pile number 1, we have the Wild Reflections Tarot with this green fluorite palm stone. For pile number 2, we have I always want to say Wild Child. It's Flowerchild Tarot with this tourmaline palm stone. For pile number 3, we have the Black Tarot with this garnerite palm stone. So take whatever time you need to tune into which pile you're feeling the most drawn to. You may be drawn to more than one pile, and that may mean that you have more than one message. As always, just make sure that at least one side of the reading is resonating for how you viewed this person. And I will have the timestamps linked down below, along with the extended readings and the names of these decks in case you guys are interested in them, and any other personal information about me. But without further ado, I will see you at your pile. Hello, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. If you chose the Wild Reflections Tarot with this green fluorite palm stone, then we're going to be looking at how this person viewed you in the past, or how this person initially viewed you. But when I say viewed you, I want to get also just like their reaction to you, how they viewed you, their thoughts, feelings, things like that. So I want one section to be their initial, like how they view you as a person, but then also their initial like thoughts and feelings towards you. And then I want for the future, we're going to look at how that's shifted essentially, or whatever has changed. And so I want to do this in a format where we also are going to be looking at how you first viewed this person. We're also going to be looking at how you initially felt, like your initial thoughts and feelings toward this person, your energy towards them. So so I just want to split it up in that way, and we're going to do a side-by-side comparison. The left side, I'm going to aim for it to be technically your side, but things can always be mirrored. So I would just say to be open to seeing whatever side resonates with you. But the most important thing is that one side does resonate with you, especially for this first part with the past energy, because it's supposed to either be the past, and if this is a new connection, I would say that this first part could be the current energy, and then the next part could be the future. So, or it could even just be first impression to, I'm sure for most of you, you've known this person longer than a day, but if you literally just met this person, I don't know if this is the right reading for you. But okay, anyways. So, Spirit, how did pile number 1 in the past view this person? How did they view them? What was their initial impression? The Magician, the 5 of Swords. We have the 5 of Cups in reverse, the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. We have the 2 of Swords. How did they view them? The 10 of Swords in reverse. The 9 of Cups in reverse. Can we clarify the 5 of Cups? The 7 of Wands. Can we clarify the 2 of Swords? The 9 of Swords. And then the 9 of Pentacles here. Okay, so definitely flip-flop this if what I described sounds more like your energy, but we will be also looking at the other side. So what's coming through is it's like you view this person as someone that is a very powerful has a very powerful magnetism to them, and is someone that has a innate desire to create in this life. But it feels like there's also this energy of maybe you being aware of something from this person's past, because it seems like with the Seven of Wands here, it's almost like there's something that they're protecting themselves from, or some sort of past experience that's coloring their current energy or your impression of them. And so I don't know if they talk to you about like their past in any capacity, but I just feel like because of what they've been through with the Ten of Swords in reverse here, I just feel like there's this energy of this person getting caught up in Five of Swords energy, or maybe having other people not like take advantage of them, but this person has had to learn stronger boundaries and how to trust themselves enough to know when something isn't serving them or something needs to come to an end. Maybe this is someone who in the past might have had connections like that were more codependent, or like they might have taken part in relationships that weren't as healthy, but like because they didn't have as strong of a sense of confidence in themselves, maybe they stayed in it. But I feel like that's something that's shifting for this person. So you view this person as someone who is shifting within their confidence, learning how to trust themselves, learning about what to put their energy into, and also learning how to best create the reality that they want to see. But it almost feels like maybe they said something, or it's like there's just this knowing that this person maybe struggles with anxiety, can struggle with hard decisions, like struggles with anxiety, struggles with hard decisions, maybe has anxiety about what could go wrong if they stand up for themselves, or if they stand true to their values, or if they say no to other people, or if they hold boundaries with other people. It's like, it's almost like this is someone who is learning how to do that, or has struggled in the past with that, has struggled to know what's right for them, because there's this anxiety around, well, how will other people react if I say this isn't what I want? Or what if I put myself first, how are other people going to react to that? And it's almost like this energy of saving situations or avoiding difficult endings, but it's at the cost of personal happiness and being able to create the way that you want to, and fully being in your power in a sense. And so it's almost like this person's power is subdued by like the need to be the peacemaker or the people pleaser, or the person that doesn't want to rock the boat with other people. So yeah, that's like your first impression of this person. This could be their first impression of you if this sounds more like you, or if you guys mirror, that means you just have similar character traits. But now we're going to be seeing your person's first impression of you. And it's almost this energy of like, you can see that this person is wanting to be powerful and create and have their own sense of self-worth, but they have a struggle with facing the challenges that come with discerning and standing up for what you're trying to manifest and feeling confident in that. And it's kind of giving the energy of, like sometimes it's better to not tell everyone your, like what you want to create in life, or like a new idea or a new project, because you don't want other people's opinions to like kind of douse out your fire or make you question yourself, or make you feel like it's not a good idea. Like I feel like this is someone who maybe deals with people like that, or yeah, I hope that makes sense. I think you view this as someone who has like a good heart to them. Yeah, but just struggles to do the right thing for themselves, although they are working on it. Okay, so how about how this person initially viewed them? How did pile number one's person initially view them? Okay, Nine of Swords in reverse. Queen of Swords in reverse. The Seven of Cups. The Six of Wands in reverse. The World in reverse. Knight of Cups. Knight of Pentacles. Five of Wands. And the Two of Pentacles. Okay. Your person first viewed you, I would say, as almost like the difference between you that's coming through really strong is that I feel like your person views you as someone who isn't afraid to voice their opinion about something. Like, you came through as someone who stands very strong within, very opinionated, but not in a bad way, like, but just very almost like sure of, they viewed you as someone who is not afraid to say your own perspective with the Five of Wands here, even if other people like don't agree with you for it. Like, there's this energy of not really caring what other people think about you, and this is just their initial perception. And being someone who definitely follows their heart with the Knight of Cups here, someone who knows how they feel and acts in alignment with how they feel. I feel like they also viewed you as someone that has a lot of different options in life. With the Two of Pentacles here, it's like there's this feeling that you have a lot of different options, and you have this energy where it's like you're slowly yet surely almost looking for, not even that, I wouldn't even say that. It's more like this person almost viewed you as someone who's not as, maybe like lives more in the moment is kind of what I'm getting. Because I feel like with the World in reverse, it's almost this energy of not being so worried about or not being so concerned about like the long-term outcome of situations. Like, it almost seems like your person viewed you as someone who lived in the moment and like tries to make decisions as you go. And it's like you're juggling these different decisions, but it's almost like you meet the moment where the moment is. And instead of having this, it's like instead of having this strong idea of what success looks like to you, or having this strong, like, specific vision of what you want to happen in some situation, it's almost like, and then some people have that in life where it's like they really want this one outcome and they're very attached to that. And so then they act very specific. A lot of their decisions then will factor into the outcome they want to create. So like, for example, let's say you're working at a company and you know you want to be promoted, or you know you want the next role. And so when your boss is like belittling you or doing something negative, because you're more focused on like the outcome, like you're more focused on whatever you're trying to manifest, or whatever outcome you want in the situation, you're more focused on that rather than the moment. So it's like, we're not thinking about like, oh, does this align with my values? It's like we're almost making decisions where even if we have to sacrifice in the current moment, we're like still trying to get to some sort of outcome. But it's like, again, that's kind of like the Five of Swords energy, but because like the Five of Swords energy is like the ends justifies the means. But I feel like not in a negative way for either of you. It's more like a people-pleasing energy. It's like, are we gonna go back on our own values? Are we going to make decisions that take into account all the different factors in the current moment And it's almost like this belief that through staying true to myself, I'm going to end up in the place that I want to end up in, even if I don't know exactly what that is. But I'm not going to stress about a specific outcome. It's almost like instead I feel the need to, it's almost like just keep swimming or just keep moving in life. Like, it's almost like this person viewed you as someone who's still kind of on their journey, not exactly sure what their destination is, but it's almost like you're taking every step. It's like, imagine someone who's on their journey and it's like there's a rough map of where you think you want to go, but you have to take it step by step to figure out where the next right turn is. And I almost feel like it's like you're not really using a map as much though. So this person might view you more in this Knight of Cups energy, if anything, where you kind of follow your heart, but also there's this grounded energy to you where it's like one foot in front of the other as we discover situations for what they are and as we discover what resonates more for us or what we like more in life. So yeah, that's really interesting. So there is that like difference between the two of you that I'm just initially seeing. But it's like overall, this person viewed you as someone who makes decisions from a place that it's almost like you're in this balanced energy though. And it's like, although sometimes maybe the outer conditions around you get riled up, it's almost like you know what you want to prioritize in your life. That's the right thing. It's like in every second, there's a practical priority to what you're like. There's a reason why you're doing something and you're willing to let go of certain things in order to get closer to what you do want. And so I feel like even though you don't know exactly what it is you want, you use your emotions to lead you. And I also feel like with the Queen of Swords in reverse, there's a feeling of, I feel like it's also an energy though of not judging things right off the bat. Like there is this open-hearted energy that you have where you like to give things a chance and you like to see how things unfold or what something's going to be. And it's like you're not doing things to be popular. You're doing things to stay true to yourself and to because you're on this journey. And it's just like all you know is you haven't reached where you want to reach yet. And it's like you're just working with what you have. But it's like this person sees you as kind of being carefree in a sense of not worrying so much if like a certain thing doesn't work out. Like it's like, yeah, there's this adaptable energy to you. Yeah, and I'm getting that a flexible card from this deck. So, yeah, you know, I was thinking, literally this just pops through. I just shuffled it and I don't even know if this is already at the back of the deck or what, but that's very much how this person viewed you. I don't think I'm going to go into thoughts and feelings. You know, that might be something for the extended reading. I just realized that this reading's going to be way too long. So I think, of course, there will be an extended reading. I'll have it linked down below. And I think it could be interesting. We'll kind of go through the reading and see what we want it to be. But we'll go more into thoughts and feelings there. But I just want to focus on perception then versus now. Okay, so I'm just going to do Oracle cards now. How did pile number 1 view their person when they first met them? View this person. We have Yang, yeah, like you're trying, like this person, like you felt like this person is actively trying to create something or is focused on some kind of a goal. Okay, we have flexible coming out for this side. That's interesting. We have all that glitters in reverse. Yeah, but I feel like if anything, it's coming off like, and then we have never ending story here. And I feel like this 9 of Swords is very similar to this person, like with their hand kind of like their hands on their face. Sorry, I just want to make sure we're completely in view. See, I feel like it's like you were able to see your person's wounds. You were able to see where this person maybe was hurt in the past and maybe how they're still carrying a story of like a lack of confidence in a sense, or they're still holding this idea of what their previous losses have told, or like when we get hurt, especially with the Five of Swords energy, when other people kind of hurt us or situations let us down, it's easy for us to then see ourselves as unworthy, or we have like a negative story about how our life goes for us, essentially. But I feel like your person sees you almost as, or no, you see your person as weathering this though, and being someone who is learning how to, in spite of like anxieties or stories that they tell themselves, trying to move forward with a healthier sense of self-esteem. But I also feel like with all that glitters is gold in reverse, it's like I feel like you view this person as someone who's maybe chased after situations that turned out to be a lot less pretty than they thought it to be, or it's like they've been very disappointed by situations in the past not turning out to be what they expected. It's interesting that flexible is coming out on this side. I feel like maybe you think that this person's learning how to become more flexible when it comes to what they think they want. It's almost like you view this person as releasing what failed outcomes mean about them. Like, it's almost like if we become very sure that this certain thing was right for us, or this certain path or this goal or this relationship or this career path or whatever it is right for us, then when we don't get it or something goes wrong, it's like you can internalize that. But I feel like you're seeing this person as someone who's learning how to become more flexible in their pursuit and how to stay in their power, even as things reveal themselves to be not great. Like, as soon, like, you know what I mean? And so I feel like this person's learning how to protect their boundaries and not let that affect how powerful they feel, how deserving they feel, and how they move in life. You know, I feel like there's like, you see a lot of the wounds in this person, and maybe it's because like you've overcome similar ones in your past. I'm not sure, but there is this opposing kind of energy where it's like you are already in this, you're in like a reverse model of this person already when you guys first meet. Okay, so how does pal number one's person initially view them? We have time for a nap in reverse. We have not for you. We have regeneration. Round and round the back of the deck. Okay, and so I feel like this pertains to, again, like with this round and round card, it's like you are very much in this, from this person's perception, and I don't know if they would understand how to explain it this way, but it makes sense to me with this round and round. It's like there's this energy about you that this person perceives where you are very in tune with the cyclical nature of life and how we learn in cycles and how sometimes things repeat, but it doesn't mean we're not getting anywhere. It doesn't mean that anything about us, like when situations turn out to be negative, or doesn't mean anything about us when we run into that same old never-ending story. Because the never-ending story is where the same thing happens over and over again, and then you begin to believe you're not worthy. And like, it happens a lot, like okay, I'm just going to bring it up again because I talk about The Bachelor a lot because I recently binged a lot of it. But I met my destination. I feel this is kind of a tangent, but I definitely feel like divinely guided to watch certain shows, and it's almost like spirit is always working in everything. So like anything you're watching can be like a synchronicity or a path to, even when you're doing something so mundane, it's like if you're looking at things with an open eye, it's like spirit was leading me all the time while I'm watching this seemingly mindless television show. But I recently discovered Gabby Windey, and I'm so obsessed with her, and I just resonate a lot with her like love journey and just who she is as a person. And like, I don't know, a lot of her narrative was like, am I just too difficult, or am I too, like, am I not easy enough to love? And like, I feel like she's kind of comparing herself to Rachel. And if you guys don't know, it's like she became the Bachelorette. And I'm just speaking about Gabby Windey, but then she was with Rachel. I know a lot of you guys have probably watched it, but when she's with Rachel, it's like Rachel just kind of comes across like the all-American girl that's like almost like a cheerleader like energy, which is totally great and amazing, and they're good friends. But it's almost like when you are next to that and you're someone who kind of has this like sense of humor, and you're just a little more awkward, and you're not as I would just say like neurotypical even, or you've never kind of fit perfectly in a sense, or you've always felt like a black sheep, or yeah, just like always felt a little bit different. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is a lot of times in The Bachelor, you hear this never ending story card come to life where they're like, maybe I'm just unlovable. Like, how does this happen to me again? You know, and like, that's what the never ending story is about. But I feel like this round and round card really represents how every experience, even if it seems like it's repeating, is you are learning and growing through it. And it's like this energy of, instead of tiring yourself out in situations that just aren't for you, like no matter how hard you try, but it's like, okay, sorry, I'm just realizing that the reason why this person perceives this is I feel like you guys may be further in this path around when it comes to understanding like karmic cycles and things like that, especially if you guys are more spiritual. It's like, I feel like you guys have maybe come to understand that you can't force something to change, or you can't force something to work if it doesn't work for you. And so it's like learning to not tire yourself out. It's learning when to just kind of accept an L, and just learning how to more quickly regenerate from those experiences and not seeing them as something that say something about you. With not for you, it's just like realizing that it's just not in the cards and being okay with that. Yeah. So yeah, I hopefully that makes sense for the past, and hopefully you know whether or not you see yourself in your person in one of these sides. So now we're going to look at how this has shifted. So first we're going to see how you view your person now, and then we'll get a little more extended time with the right side, but I'm going to look at both anyways. So we're going to see how your perception of this person has changed. How does pile number 1 view this person now? We have the Knight of Cups. We have the Queen of Cups in reverse. We have the Hangman, Pisces energy. Temperance, Sagittarius. How does pile number 1 view this person now? The Two of Wands. Judgment in reverse. The Three of Cups. Knight of Pentacles in reverse, and then the Page of Swords. Okay, let me look at this. Okay, there's this energy here of you viewing this person as someone who's stuck in some capacity. Like you view them as having maybe some sort of desire to follow their heart, or that they have some sort of a calling. But with the Two of Wands, it's kind of like a crossroads, or it's maybe like the Two of Wands for me usually represents a decision to pursue something that is out of your comfort zone. That kind of pushes you out of your comfort zone, maybe to leave your current situation in some capacity. You view this person as someone who is wanting to break out of a stagnancy of doing the same thing over and over and over again. Someone who has a curiosity, who's feeling curious at this time in their life, and someone that's, like wanting to expand and bring new energy into their life, new experiences. Someone who maybe has new ideas right now. Because with temperance can talk about wanting, like, I feel like this person views you as someone who is trying to bring more balance. And it's kind of funny because a lot of times when temperance is here, I think we think about temperance where it's a lot of times we think about it as not doing a lot of excessive things. But it's like temperance is about balance. And so sometimes it can be the opposite energy where it's like we can be out of balance if we never let ourselves break our routine. You know what I mean? It's like, and I was just thinking about this. I was thinking about, the guy that's like obsessed with Brian, the guy who's had a Netflix documentary where it's like he wants to be young forever. And I was just thinking about how like creepy it felt. I was actually watching the Kardashians and like they met with him, and no hate to him. I feel very neutral about him, but there was just an uncanny feeling of this can't be good, or it's like, and I was just thinking about how it's crazy when someone does everything so good, like where he is very regimented in what time he goes to bed at. He said he doesn't eat a meal past 11 a.m. He does all these he spends like $2 million a year on his like self-care routine and his health and his wellness. And it's like he's obsessed with having like the biological age of an 18-year-old. And it's like, that is temperance in reverse energy. Like that is not temperance. It might masquerade as like doing the right thing or being balanced, but it's like learning to tell the difference between something you're doing or some situation you're in that is holding you back. Like that is actually holding you back, having such an intense attachment to things needing to be that way. Because but like the opposite side of him would be someone that drinks every night, and no shame to anyone that does that, does a bunch of stuff that's bad for their body, doesn't prioritize their sleep, doesn't eat healthy, doesn't value themselves in that way or prioritize them. That's also another form of temperance in reverse. But I feel like it's like you're viewing this person maybe as someone who's in the process of figuring out that things need to change, that they need to come to see things from a different perspective. Like it's almost like you see this person, you're almost like waiting on this person, or you see this person as needing to, like they need to stop doing things the exact same way. And I'm just seeing how this Judgment in reverse and the Hangman in reverse is similar in a sense. But yeah, it's like you see this person though as struggling to see the truth of all of this though. So it's like you're kind of viewing this person from a higher perspective than you think that they're viewing their own life. It's like you're viewing them like from a high level is what I would say. You're seeing them very much like you look at things as if like what cycle people are in. And so that's what I'm kind of getting is like you have a very neutral perspective of this person. Not saying you feel neutrally about them, but it just tells me that your lens is very objective. because I just think you see what this person's struggling with. You see what their blockage is. You see where the imbalance is coming from. I think also you might feel like this person is maybe needing people in their life that are more supportive of a different perspective or expanding their knowledge. I almost feel like this person is stunted or unhappy or struggling, like you kind of view them this way, until they can realize, until they can see what cycle they've been stuck in. Like, it's almost like they need to recognize where they've been stuck. And I think it has something to do with maybe not honoring your emotions, or like the need to stay true to your emotions and be honest with yourself about your emotions, so you can know when it's time to change up the way you're going about something, because it's just not working. So yeah, you might even feel like this person, though, is in this phase of trying to, like, they're kind of in this standstill energy of healing, though, and you're viewing them as getting a higher perspective as well, though. Like, you think that this person is coming to a higher understanding of what's not working in their life, of the ways that they have been stuck. And I think you think this person is trying to strategize how they can bring more happiness into their life, more emotional fulfillment. But that can only happen through recognizing the way they, understanding the flaws, I would say, or the imbalances in the way they'd previously been going about things, is what I'd want to say. So that could be like stopping so you can look at how you're approaching something. Like, what are my thought patterns? How do I feel in this situation? What has my strategy been? And it's like, I think you think this person hasn't quite figured it out yet, but that they're inquiring, they're trying to learn. It's like, maybe you think this person's doing like self-development or help in some, or they're trying to get a new perspective so they can have like not a second win, but it's almost like an epiphany. It's almost like this person's waiting on an epiphany or a solution. But it's like, until they get that, they're kind of stuck, or they're in this in-between time period right now, is how you view them. So yeah, okay. Let me get some oracle cards for this. We have Here and Now. We have Treasure Island. We have Exchanging Gifts and Never Ending Story in reverse. Okay, so yeah, I totally feel that. So I like this because there is a strong sense of this person focusing on the here and now, as in, instead of it's like with the Hangman energy, and that can be an energy where instead of focusing so much on where you're trying to get to, and also kind of being like, sometimes we can subconsciously be in this energy of running away from the past and chasing the future, but it also can be vice versa. Like, sometimes we can be sabotaging our potential future by focusing too much on the past. I feel like this person is learning the art of presence, and this is how you view them now, at least. And it's like slow and steady wins the race here with the turtle. And I feel like instead of accepting defeat or being like a victim of life, it's like becoming more aware of the give and take in certain situations with exchanging gifts. It's like you view this person as someone who is going through this journey of unlearning being in this insecure energy, being in this energy of not valuing themselves, or like, it's almost like previously they've been blaming themselves or taking it on upon themselves, like other people's reactions to things, or whether or not they got something, or how other people reacted to them, you know, whether they got the promotion, whether they're successful. And it's like, I feel like that this person maybe struggled to overgive in situations or to be in situations where they felt more needed. But the Treasure Island card really talks about first going inward to work on your own belief in abundance. And it's like when you do all this inner work, it's reflected in the external. And so I feel like this person is kind of going down a different route. They're changing up, they're getting a new perspective on how to manifest. And it's much more about being in the present. It's about doing the inner work. It's about taking, like, when things aren't working, like, instead of doing the same thing over and over again, instead of like accepting whatever it is, it's like taking a step back and assessing situations. Like, is this a good situation for me? Am I getting out of this what I put into it? And being aware of where my insecurities cause me to automatically function in a way that doesn't honor me. I'm realizing there's a specific deck that's going to be really helpful for this. Okay, sorry for the shakiness. It'll stop. But yeah, I just cut the deck and this card came through. So it says, I forgive myself for catastrophizing and abandoning hope when I perceive something has not gone according to my plan. I choose to believe that I'm being built for what it is I'm building, and that requires an expansion in perception and perspective in order to accommodate a higher plan. Yes. Yeah, look, another one underneath it says, I forgive myself for worrying about what should happen if I dare venture outside my comfort zone. I choose to believe that the exploration of the uncomfortable and unknown holds the key to the door that opens my dreams. Yeah, look at this. I got these cards wet, sadly. Wow, there's a lot coming through here. I forgive myself for avoiding people and situations that make me uncomfortable. I choose to believe that each time I give myself permission to change my mind and commit to a new way of showing up in the world, I allow myself to be moved where the possibility of deeper comfort exists. Yeah, it's like this person is learning how to actually be more flexible, just like that card said, like learning how to not be so attached to, not be so attached to situations that we're only able to see them through the lens of ego, but instead seeing like a higher perspective. And it's interesting that I said you have such an objective view of this person. I think this person struggled maybe with having an objective view in the past of situations or things. And it's like this energy of maybe taking things personally or internalizing them. And then that affecting the way that they react to situations. But it's like, it's learning to overcome that. But let's just get a couple more shuffles. All right. Can we pull some cards for how pile number 1 now views this person? Okay, I forgive myself for attempting to solve other people's problems before I've solved my own. I choose to believe that when I give myself permission to prioritize my needs, I invite and encourage others to prioritize themselves as well. It says, I forgive myself for feeling as though I need others to be for me what I must first be for myself. I choose to believe I'm fully capable of providing myself with all that I need as long as I clarify my desires and commit to be guided there as life sees fit. I forgive myself for holding on to habits that no longer serve me. I choose to believe that when I set the intention to have compassion for my emotional experience, I will find I'm more able to effortlessly engage in behaviors that support me. Yeah, and I was getting, it's like, instead of staying in the same situation over and over again, almost like waiting. I feel like this person had a way of, it's interesting because it's kind of coming through in a more feminine, people-pleasing way, but it's like when you're very dedicated to one outcome, like, and what's coming through is almost like, let's say you decide that a certain relationship or a certain person is like gonna be, let's say you marry that person, right? But then very soon after, this person starts acting in ways that are like, maybe they're like, let's say that you didn't know. Okay, I'm now going off of Khloe's story, Khloe Kardashian, because that's the most recent, it's in my mind. So like, I'm just thinking about her relationship with Lamar and like how she didn't know that he was like addicted to anything for a year into their marriage. And then I see her as someone who can sometimes stay in a situation even though there's these clear imbalances, and even though they're impacted negatively emotionally, but it's almost like we can self-sacrifice sometimes, and be in like this codependent energy. It's like when we put our self-worth into something else and we sacrifice ourselves so that to try to make that thing be what we need it to be. And so it's kind of giving that energy of thinking that your love can save a person. And like, if I love this person enough, they'll finally love me in the way that I need to be loved. And it's like, it's learning how to have enough self-love for yourself that you don't stay in situations that are clearly imbalanced in some capacity, where your needs are clearly not being met. And it's like having that self-confidence and also the boundaries to not feel bad about saying no to things that don't serve you, even if it is disappointing for others. It's like, it's breaking that codependent cycle on this side. But anyways, okay, that was a long sort of spiel. But let's see now how this person views you now. I'm also getting that, like, I feel like you view this person as well as learning how to validate their own emotions, even if other people don't get their truth, or even if other people don't get it. And being able to be comfortable in honoring yourself, even when everyone else around you still doesn't understand. That's really it. That's what I'm getting, is like, not needing everyone to understand you or validate the things that you do before you do them. Okay. Or even like, when we try, this is giving that energy, because I relate to this in my past, where it's like maybe like over explaining yourself, or almost just like not recognize how much weight you put on your own shoulders. If you go internal and heal those wounds that are making you do that, suddenly you're free. Okay, so I'm hearing the song I'm Yours by Jason Mraz, and it's like, open up your plans and like, damn, you're free. Look into your heart and you'll find love, love, love. Yeah, I don't know, that's coming through. But anyways, okay. So how does pile number one's person currently view them? Interesting. The Four of Pentacles. The Lovers in reverse. Wow, this is interesting. The first thing that's coming through is, and I think this would be a distorted viewpoint, but I'm kind of getting like, maybe your person having a hard time understanding your decisions when it comes to honoring yourself. But I'll clarify. Can we clarify the Nine of Pentacles in reverse? Yeah, definitely. Can we clarify the Four of Pentacles? Two of Wands. The Hermit in reverse. The Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Cups, yeah. So here's the thing. I feel like for a lot of you, you guys may have decided to walk away from this connection, or maybe decided to kind of move on. Like with the Eight of Wands, like I feel like this person views you as kind of putting your energy in another direction. With the Eight of Pentacles, this could even be like work. We have Virgo energy here. Gemini coming through as well. But I feel like your person, it's almost like your person is, I don't agree with their perception, but that's not important. I'll tell you how they view you, but I just have to give my point of view to kind of, or not even my point of view, but Spirit's point of view on this. But it's almost like they view you, they have a hard time seeing how when you make decisions that are solely for you or that are self-protective, it's like you may have made a decision here to kind of protect yourself or protect your stability and your foundation. And I feel like you may have even closed off a sense of openness to this person, or maybe you stopped giving as much to this person. But I feel like with the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, I feel like they're almost viewing you as hyper independent or someone that, but it's only in reflection to the ways that they are hyper dependent. And so it's like, if you're a person who sacrifices your needs for other people and is like loyal to a fault, you then view people that put themselves first and make decisions to cut away based on like something not being emotionally fulfilling. It's like you're easily then going to view that as selfish, or like almost like putting a lens of you being like someone who doesn't think of other people or doesn't need other people, or someone that just cares about their work or just cares about what they're trying to grow, and is almost like hyper independent. Like, and with the Hermit in reverse, it's almost this sense of like isolating yourself from other people, and almost in a way that is like this person almost feels like maybe isolated from you. Yeah. So I don't think this person is in the lens, has the right lens to truly see you, because again, this is your perception of them. But again, it's like, I feel like this is kind of still coming in here. I forgive myself for feeling as though I need others to be for me what I must first be for myself. And I feel like, especially if a lot of you guys have kind of decided to let this person learn this lesson that you're clearly seeing them learn, you know that there's no amount of, it's not helpful to this person to overgive to them. Like you're not mirroring the same energy that they have, because I feel like this person is in that energy of overgiving. And then but you're not mirroring that essentially. And so I feel like this person wants more than anything probably for someone else to overgive to them. Like it's almost this energy like that, where it's like this person overgives to hopefully finally have someone else overgive to them. But it's like needing to see the flaw in that logic and needing to understand that a healthy person like there's a need for temperance here, to understand that we need to start off with filling up our own cup, because I feel like this person's used to giving like 100% to other people. And I feel like in a healthy, like, and this is just how I see things and like how I've come to understand like healthy relationships, I feel like it is very important to show up for yourself. And I would even go 50%. Like there's a need to have some self-reliance and to actually be able to love yourself to some capacity, but it doesn't mean that other people's love isn't important. It's just that we don't see it where it's like, I have to give 100% to someone else and someone else has to give 100% to me. I think in healthy relationships, we have a healthy sense of interdependency and individuality. And that's where there's a need to be separate from another person. Like, you know, it's like that's where you can become enmeshed with other people. And that's where your own identity you can like lose your identity. And that's actually what makes people avoidant in relationships, is like the fear of that, or like having a caretaker that did that. Because this kind of energy can become emotionally smothering, but I understand the mechanism behind it. And I've been in both of these energies, so I totally get it. Either way, there's no judgment. But again, there's a strong focus on other versus self on this side and a struggle with that. This side feels healthy, honestly, because it's like sometimes what a loving decision is, a loving decision can be one that on the surface doesn't look like a loving situation. And I feel like you really embody that energy of, because I always try to talk about with people, like the lovers doesn't always mean choosing a relationship or choosing another person. Sometimes the loving decision is to choose yourself. And so I feel like that's maybe what you did in this situation. And I feel like you've kind of challenged the status quo of this relationship, or you've challenged the status quo of what this person expects in situations. But yeah, this person definitely sees you as moving on or moving forward, watering your own garden, not being interested, turning your back almost, or looking to the horizon away from this person. But again, it's like the Six of Pentacles. It's like, I feel like they view you as someone that they want to receive from. Like they view you as someone who has a lot to give. But it's actually you in this situation recognizing where this person is at and what they're still working on. And it's like you continuing doing what you've always done, or what you've recently been doing. You're just continuing the path that you've been on. But we'll see. I'm going to take these back just so I can use all the cards. And I feel like this person's trying to figure out. What's interesting is that I feel like you're holding up a mirror to this person of like a healthy energy that I think this person is deeply trying. It's actually like what you're embodying is the key to their progress in their own life. If they can learn to kind of, if they could follow in your footsteps on some capacity, it would really help them get perspective on their own situation. I feel like you're triggering them in a way that's probably at first triggering for them, but then the more they think about it, like they might be able to go, well, I guess it's like fair. You know, maybe that is something that I struggle with. Like it's almost like this is an opportunity for them to get a better perspective of themselves and to see this whole cycle for what it is, or this whole situation that they're kind of stuck in, this way of being. And I think you were kind of sent in to pave the path. You're embodying this path that this person is struggling to embody themselves. All right, but how does pile number one's person currently view them? You've never ending story. I feel like this person is like projecting onto you. I'm not going to lie. We have blessed in reverse. And then the fates here. Yeah, I feel like this person is almost like, again, it's like, you know, when we're hurt by something, well, this person is doing what we know that they do. And if this is you, that's okay too. This will probably be a helpful reading for you if you're willing to listen to it. But I feel like this person really views you through the lens of the never-ending story. But I feel like they are almost seeing you as something that it's almost like they felt entitled to something working out. And I do want to say that, like, they do feel on some level that there's been an offense here by you deciding to make your own choices. And they're perceiving that as, wow, this is a situation that really didn't have what I wanted behind it. And I think from that level of thinking, that's what keeps them actually stuck in this cycle. But that's the way they're currently looking at it, is like, well, I guess like good people just get hurt in life, and, you know, there's nothing I can do to control the situation. And I guess this just wasn't meant to be. And I guess I saw this situation to be, I thought this person was different, but it's like this person's protecting their ego. Yeah, it's like they're protecting their ego, feeling like they should, especially when blessed comes out in reverse. It's almost like this energy of expecting, it says grace is an unearned gift, or it's like there's a need to understand that, the need to be not expecting things, I guess is the best. Yeah, I already said that. But I just feel like there's sort of like an expectation that this person had on you. And I feel like when you didn't follow it, because there's a hollow sense of self, because there's a lack of an ability, there's not a strong sense of self coming from this side. When something like this happens, it's hard to have enough security within yourself to understand another person's perspective. It's almost like that energy of I can only... there's an abandonment wound that's being triggered here. Like, there's an abandonment wound that's being triggered, but it's one of those situations where something happens to you that you initially label as like, wow, that person like was in the wrong. And then the more you learn to grow about yourself, the more you realize your own perspective was actually the issue in the situation. That's happened to me a lot in my life, where like I initially reacted to something out of my trigger, and then as you grow, you can use those situations to be honest with yourself and go like, wow, like that actually made sense for them to do that. And I'm actually trying to embody a very similar way. But because I never experienced it before, it was hard for me to process. Because I don't know that energy, I labeled it as something I do know, which is not to invalidate that there have been experiences with like an energy that like leads you on or something, or is trying to use you. But here's the thing is that this energy on the right side was not trying to use the energy on the left side, did not want the left side to overgive to them, did not want a situation that was like imbalanced like that. They didn't want to take. And so I feel like this person on the left is so used to people, maybe they attract people that are takers that abandon them after they get what they want in a sense. But I feel like the difference is on the right side, they were never doing that. They were never wanting person A to solve their problems. They were never wanting that in the first place. So it's kind of like, yeah, that's what I'm getting. And so I hope this makes sense, where it's like there is a misunderstanding here and a lens that this person's looking at that has to do with their current conditioning, but it's also something that you view that they're trying to work through. So for the extended reading, I want to look at, because this is your perception of them, I want to see their actual thoughts and feelings towards you right now. I want to see if this person is ever, like, what's going to happen next in the connection, or where the overall connection is headed, or if this person is ever going to, if you guys are going to reconnect with this person, or if there is a path together with them, what the future potential is, where this person's path is headed. Because I could see this person apologizing to you in the future once they kind of understand this better. But this is all based on your perception too. So let's just really look at what your person's thoughts and feelings are towards you, where the connection is headed, and then we'll get guidance for you on the connection as well. So I'll have that linked down below in the description box for anybody that's interested. If you're not already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. I'm like so surprised when so many of my views are people that are not subscribed. And I'm like, you guys, I would love for you to subscribe if you haven't, or if you find yourself returning to my channel. I really do appreciate everyone who interacts with the channel through likes and comments. And thank you to everyone who is subscribed. So it's been an honor to read for you, and I hope to connect with you again soon. Hello, pal number 2. Welcome to your reading. If you chose the Flowerchild Tarot and this labradorite palm stone, then this is going to be your reading, where we're looking at how this person, or the person that you have on your mind, viewed you when they first met you, or when they were first getting to know you, versus how they view you now. And we are going to be doing a one side versus the other. So the energy check-in aspect is really going to be, I'm going to look at how you first viewed this person when you were getting to know them, your first impression of them, on this side. So that should be a good indicator as to whether or not this is your pile. As always, these readings can be flip-flopped. So if you feel like what I'm describing sounds like your person and then the other side sounds like you, I would just flip-flop the energies. But it's up to you. So yeah. All right. I'm going to use this deck for your person. So I'm going to use another deck for your side. So You know, I'm actually going to reverse that. I almost feel like the pile that you're drawn to can tell you more about your own energy, honestly. So for pile number 2, what was their first impression? Or how did they view this person when they were first getting to know them? And this could be whatever you consider that to be. It's just like in a past time period, if this is someone from your past, or if there's been time since you've first gotten to know them. I just want to say if this is a new connection, then I would take this as the now and then the next part to be the future. But just want to throw that out. Okay, so for pile number 2, what was their first impression of this person? How did they initially view this person back then? Okay, the King of Pentacles in reverse. The Ace of Cups. The Magician. All right, the Six of Wands in reverse. The Star in reverse. Aquarius energy. Can we clarify the King of Pentacles in reverse? Knight of Cups reverse. Can we clarify the Ace of Cups? The Page of Cups. Seven of Pentacles in reverse. And the Knight of Wands here in the reverse. Okay. Just going to scoot this over, make sure we leave as much space as possible for the other side. Okay. So what I'm seeing here is, I honestly think when you first met this person, you may have not been like super impressed by them. Like, I feel like you kind of saw this person as someone that you wouldn't really see a sustainable connection with. I feel like you thought this person was sweet, and maybe open-hearted even, but it's almost like you're doubting this person's staying power, or you're doubting this person's like relationship material. Like, I almost feel like if someone asked you, like when you first met this person, like, do you think this is relationship material? I feel like you would have said no, which is interesting. And I feel like maybe you were looking for love at this point, or trying to think about what kind of future partner you'd want. But yeah, I almost feel like it's kind of funny with the Magician. There's a message coming through of like imagining you wanting to attract maybe like a new love opportunity towards you, and this not being exactly what you had in mind. That's really how it feels. And I feel like with the Six of Wands, it almost makes me feel like you wouldn't be super proud of this person. Like, not in a mean, it's not coming through in a malicious sense. It's more just like, just something about this person you just didn't really maybe take seriously, or you didn't fully trust in them, or yeah, you didn't really think maybe this would be something you would want to really invest in. Yeah, I almost even wonder if you view this as someone who does, like, not in a mean way, but like it's almost like maybe not fully on your level. Which is interesting, but yeah, and it's also coming through like maybe you viewed them as someone who, there's something like unimpressive about them, or not unique or something, or it's like maybe you viewed this person like you didn't really see their like maybe you felt like they kind of blended in with everyone else, so they were just like another one of this kind of person. Like, you might have initially seen that, especially with like the Knight of Wands in reverse. Like, you maybe just thought this was going to be like, especially if this was just a fling with this person, or something. Maybe you just felt like this would be someone that maybe you would like hook up with or something, if this is love related. Or someone that you maybe saw some short-term passion or short-term excitement, but ultimately not really trusting in them, essentially. Not really trusting in the sustainability of this connection. Yeah, because I'm almost seeing this like Ace of Cups here being like what you want. And then I'm seeing this girl and she's holding this cup and there's like a fish in it. And it's like not great news. And I don't usually talk about the fish in the Page of Cups. I've heard other readers talk about it, but this is the first time I feel like it's very relevant to this energy where it's almost like, yeah, and it's, okay, there's an energy here of almost you being, or what's coming through is having to kiss like several frogs before you meet your prince. Like that saying is coming through. And maybe you initially kind of feeling like this was another frog on your journey. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. I don't know if this person is younger than you or just like is more immature, but that's the feeling that I'm getting. Okay, I am gonna get some oracle cards. How did pile number 2 initially view this person? All right, we have never-ending story in reverse. We have come to the edge. We have unfinished symphony, and then we have why here. And then happy, happy at the back of the deck. Maybe you felt like this was someone that had, maybe this was, it almost feels like this is someone that, I feel like you question this person's intentions. With come to the edge here, I feel like you wondered if, yeah, with unfinished symphony here, I'm kind of getting this idea of you like kind of not feeling sure about whether or not you want to fully invest or get involved, and like kind of be vulnerable with this person, because it's almost like wondering if, I just feel like you questioned your attraction to this person, or you questioned a lot about this person almost. You weren't sure. And maybe, I don't know, this is just for some of you, but with unfinished symphony, I just want to see if there's a specific message in there. Okay, it talks about unfinished business casts a shadow over your life. It's a reminder that procrastination is a form of self-sabotage. Maybe this person, you maybe maybe you wonder if this person is fully, yeah, because with clean it up here, there's almost a fear of getting in a mess with someone, or there's almost this sense of not wanting to get involved in someone else's drama or someone else's energy, and it kind of bring you down in a sense. Like it's almost like wondering, maybe you wondered if this person has other connections, or wondering if like they're actually emotionally available, if they actually have a clean slate, like are they actually ready? Or you might even question what their attraction was. Yeah, like what's their reason for, you know, what would their intentions be? I think that's something you definitely would question. But okay, let's see how this person viewed you. Maybe this person doesn't have the greatest reputation. It even is coming through, like, this doesn't have to be for everyone, but it's like, I don't know exactly why, but this person could be known to be a certain way, or maybe even like other people have like told you, like, don't have the best. Yeah, I'm just getting that maybe some people didn't have the best view of this person. Or maybe people even like warned you about this person too. I don't know. That's just for some. And that could even just be, even if they don't know this person, but like maybe you tell them about them and then they're kind of like, oh, I don't know, that kind of seems weird, or that seems fishy with the Page of Cups. All right, let's see though. How did pile number 2's person view them in the past, or when they were first getting to know them? Okay, we have the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Queen of Swords. We have the Ace of Cups. The King of Wands. Okay, I've had the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, 6 of Wands in reverse coming out. I might have to look into that. Okay, can we clarify the Queen of Swords? The 9 of Wands in reverse. Can we clarify the Ace of Cups? The Knight of Pentacles. Can we clarify the King of Wands? The 6 of Pentacles. And then the Lovers at the back of the deck. Okay. Just want to make sure everything is in view. Okay, so let's look at this. Well, what the first thing coming through is this person viewed you as someone who's very discerning and very intelligent, with the Queen of Swords being here. I also feel like this person saw a level of defensiveness with you, or saw that you had some concerns or barriers up. So that's actually how this person viewed you initially. With the Ace of Cups, it's like you're looking, this person is viewing you in this very discerning light. We have Gemini energy with the Lovers. And with the Knight of Pentacles, it's like they almost view you as someone who's practical, or someone that is thinking long term. The Knight of Pentacles is a very reliable energy, and maybe you brought up reliability, but I feel like this is someone who viewed you as reliable and viewed you as looking for something that is reliable. With the Lovers here, I feel like this person sensed a very strong goodness in you. Like, I feel like they viewed you as a good person. Someone who makes decisions in an informed way, and also someone who's very good at like understanding other people. I feel like this person almost felt very like seen by you, maybe more seen than they're used to feeling. Yeah. Sorry, I just need to read into how much of this is, how much of their psyche is coloring this. It's just like kind of what I'm wondering, because with the 6 of Pentacles here, that can talk about a imbalanced relationship, or one where one person has the upper hand, or one person is almost like the sole giver in the relationship. And so that can kind of represent a dynamic of where one person's dependent on the other, and then there's like a sense of control in that. But I need to clarify some things here. Why is the 6 of Wands in reverse? Ace of Swords in reverse. I feel like when the Ace of Swords is in reverse, it's like sometimes a mistake, or where we made a mistake about something. Can we clarify the 8 of Pentacles? Yeah, the 9 of Cups, and then the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. I'm wondering if this person Is there I wonder if there's something about this person that, like, some sort of mistake that they've made, or just something that would cause you to pause before feeling confident about someone. I feel like there's something about this other person that maybe you knew about, and then they maybe thought that you knew about it, because there's almost this feeling of them questioning you as to what you're going to think about them, or like, if you're going to see them as someone that was in an unfortunate situation, or like whether or not you are gonna judge them for it, essentially. I wonder if they went for something that they wanted. Why is the Nine of Cups here? Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Another interpretation I'm getting here, you guys, is if this is someone who's already in a relationship, or like they're in the process of ending another relationship. This is just for some of you. I'm not 100% sure, but some scenarios that are coming through is, I'm not sure if this is someone from work, but it feels like there's a level of inappropriateness, a reason to be cautious here. There's like almost this energy of not, like, from your side, not knowing if this is a good idea. Maybe knowing of this person's past, or it could be like a boss or something that has a reputation, or I don't know. It just seems like there's something slightly taboo, and if not taboo, it's like, it just feels like there's some sort of like rumor or some sort of reputation. What is the reputation that I'm picking up on? Okay, the Emperor in reverse. Can we get one more? The Two of Wands. It could have to do with not trusting this person's like actions, or like maybe this person being someone. I just want to get one more. Sorry, I just feel like I'm not hitting it on the head yet. Yeah, Three of Wands in reverse. There's something here about like a lack of follow through from this person, or maybe this is someone who like makes a lot of promises or a lot of plans but doesn't follow through on them with the Emperor in reverse. Like, doesn't create the structure and the reliability, and like the masculine energy is the doing energy, and so it's showing by action. So I almost feel like this is someone who maybe makes plans but doesn't follow through on them, and so there's just some level of caution that I feel like you had. And so it's almost like they're looking at you, wondering in the beginning, looking at you wondering if you would let your guard down around them. I feel like they're wondering if you would want them, if you are interested in them. I feel like they're wondering if you're interested in them, is the first thing that's kind of happening. Like, they're wondering if you're even interested in them. I feel like this person is aware of something, some kind of a reputation they have, of maybe not putting in the effort or not following through, is kind of what I'm getting. And maybe like coming to the edge of something, or like being entertained in something or interested, but then never fully committing. And it's almost like they're wondering if you are going to see this as a fixed character trait in them, or whether or not you're going to see it as potentially something that was situational in their life. That, I don't know the truth, but that's something that they're wondering about you. So they're really curious about like what you are, like, if you're going to be open to them or not. Can we clarify the Six of Pentacles? We have the Eight of Swords, Six of Swords. it seems like this person is viewing you as someone who values reliability and is almost like knows what they're looking for. And I feel like it might be this King of Wands. Like maybe this person perceives that you're looking for a King of Wands kind of person. So someone who's like a leader and is a visionary, creative, passionate, goes after what they want, very confident as well. They almost maybe see that as your counterpart, or they think of the ideal person that you're probably looking for, which again, like, I don't know why they'd be doing this, but we'll definitely get more tea about this person. I feel like we're going to be doing an extended reading, and I definitely want to see like what this person, what their intentions were towards you, because a lot of this feels almost like they're profiling you, which I guess we all do that to some capacity. Like we do that, but it almost feels like this maybe is a manipulative person, because when I'm trying to think through their lens, it feels very like, where are this person's boundaries? Like, what will they tolerate? What won't they tolerate? What kind of person is this? What are they looking for? What motivates them? Yeah. What would they respond well to? What wouldn't they respond well to? Can we get one more clarifier for the Eight of Swords? The Two of Pentacles in reverse. Again, like a lack of balance. So I feel like your person may view you in some ways like this King of Wands, or someone who is strong and confident in themselves. And so I feel like if anything, they're viewing you as someone who has a lot to give, rather than someone who's kind of like a victim of life. Like I feel like they view you as someone who is very capable, maybe even an entrepreneur type person, or a person that has like a vision for life and again has a lot to offer, but definitely not viewing you as someone who's easily pushed out of their values or easily juggled, is what I'm kind of getting, because I'm almost imagining and it's hard for me to channel this because it's very strange energy or something that I'm gonna have to look into, but it's like, if you're this if you're this very confident energy that knows exactly where you're going, imagine versus being someone who's maybe in this Eight of Swords energy, who cares a lot about what other people think, who's maybe lacking a vision for themselves, lacking boundaries for themselves, lacking the confidence to stand out. It's going to be a lot easier to not prioritize that person without them doing anything. And so it's almost like they're looking at you like with almost as a challenge, or like what level of what will this situation require from me? So I don't know. That's kind of, I don't know about that. I don't approve of that, I guess is what I would say. But let's see. How does pile number 2's person view them in the beginning? Okay, we have No Place Like Home in reverse. We have Go the Distance. We have Clean It Up in reverse. We have By the Book, and then Soulmate in reverse. Okay, I feel like this person views you as someone that, with By the Book here, again, there's this level of needing to stick to the rules, or needing to respect your structure, your law, your rules, your boundaries, it's almost like they can't, if they want to get anywhere with you, or they even view you as this way, or like being someone that's very like kind of strict in a sense, like not in a bad way though, but just someone that has learned a way for themselves, and it's like you follow your own it's like, you know what you want, you know what you don't want. You kind of have a way you operate that's kind of important to you. And it's almost like this person feels like they have to follow that. With go the distance here, again, there's something coming through around your resilience is coming through. I think this person is wondering, maybe knows or sees you as someone who has had to learn how to survive or be resilient through situations where it wasn't even like, maybe this person views you as someone who's dealt with other people's baggage or has already been tested by relationships in some capacity. And that could be with the lovers here. Like, you maybe have more experience in love is something that's coming through, or you just, maybe the way you speak, you just seem like you have a lot of wisdom when it comes to experiences that were unfair or experiences that taught you a lot about yourself. And you seem to be self-aware when it comes to relationships. That's your person's first perspective of you. Maybe that you are someone who is used to being generous, or maybe that you're someone who is typically can sometimes end up in the role of, like, just because you are a leader or because you have this strong energy to you, maybe this person is perceiving you as someone who helps other people, or is oftentimes, like maybe attracting broken birds that's coming through, or like it's almost like people maybe try to make a home out of you is what it feels like, or people have this intrinsic energy of being drawn to you is what this person notices. And they see the way maybe that they see you as a generous leader, and someone that helps people, even if it's not your own baggage. But with time for a nap in reverse, I think this person sees you though as someone who can get burned out on that. But you are like a reliable and open-hearted person. You're a reliable, open-hearted leader in this person's eyes, the people around you, and you're someone who is generous with others. Especially, I want to say, with the Eight of Swords, maybe you even are good at like talking to other people when they don't feel like they have any other options, or maybe that could be something to do with your job. But it's like they view you as someone that is able to help people in situations where they feel trapped, or they feel like they have nowhere to go, or nothing, like they feel stuck in some kind of capacity. And this person also, I feel like, views you as someone that has already gone through like difficult circumstances with the wheel, in reverse. Like, you're someone who is resilient is the biggest thing I would want to say. They view you as a resilient person that, despite maybe with the Ten of Pentacles being in reverse here, like despite maybe not having the most supportive family, or it's like you have this energy of learning what makes you happy as well, and how to follow that without that necessarily being backed up by tradition. But so there's this level of independence. This person might even be somewhat intimidated by you is what's coming through. So okay, let's see how this perception changes. That might fill in some gaps for me. Maybe they even view you as someone who works very hard but doesn't get as much recognition as you deserve, or like, maybe you do stuff that kind of goes unnoticed, but you're like a helping hand in life, or Okay, so let's see now how pile number 2, so you, and if it's flip-flop, just flip-flop it, but how you view this person now. And then we'll look at how your person views you now. Oops. How does pile number 2 view this person at this point? The Tower in reverse. Knight of Cups in reverse. Seven of Wands in the reverse. Five of Swords. Okay, this is the song that's coming through is, this is not about me, it's more about you and what you're going through. I hope you realize this is real life. I want to get the lyrics of that song. Okay, so the song is About You by San Cisco. And so I just want to read like some of the lyrics because it's coming through and I feel like it's relevant to this reading. So it says, cliches are what we say when words don't even matter. Sweet tooth for a liar. I only wish I never met her. Confusion. I know we're losing touch with one another. So keep up. You'll need some good luck running from what you can't imagine. So again, there's this sense of maybe like getting involved with this person. And it's like you were already hesitant when you met them, or maybe felt like there was something that they're running away from or something you can't trust. Then it says, this is not about me. It's more about you and what you're going through. This isn't about us. It's more about how you're going to do what you want to do. And so there's kind of this level of selfishness. And it's kind of like the singer is having a realization that it's really because this person has so much, because this person is not emotionally available, and because this person isn't like this fresh slate, like it's almost like the relationship with this person has never really been intimate, or it's like it's never really been authentic because it's always been more about what this person's running from, and it's like you can't really deeply connect, or it's almost like it's like this person, it's almost like when you don't have the capacity to not be selfish, but like everyone has the capacity to not be selfish, but it's like, it's almost like realizing that the whole time they were always going to do whatever they wanted, and the connection was never really about what was best for the both of the people in the song. And it says, I hope you realize this is real life. You're not looking for some truth. You're selecting the proof to suit you. And so it's almost like this energy of not learning from situations or being out of touch with the consequences of their own actions. Like being out of touch with what they're really doing. It says you never really ever care. He was never really ever there. Why do you hesitate? Let go, give into it. It's not about the things you say. I do not feel this emptiness. It hurts too much to let go. He was never really, you never really ever care. Why do you hesitate? Let go, give into it. There is something about emotional unavailability being, and in almost this energy of analyzing this person and just kind of seeing their problems and like where they go wrong. And it's like kind of that energy of like where you can like love someone, but you know, it's kind of like a lost cause because maybe some behaviors that this person has is like just like not compatible with a healthy relationship is how it feels. But can we clarify the Tower in reverse? Yeah, the Ace of Cups in reverse. You view this person as someone, again, emotionally unavailable or emotionally empty, like they don't have anything to give. And it's also like in that song too, it talks about, it says something along the lines of like, it's never good enough. I'll take you out of the atmosphere. blah, 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 blah. So it's like no matter what you do, it's just a bottomless cup with this person. And there's also a level of like delusional that you view this person, or you almost are just like, how do you continue to not improve, or like, yeah, like temperance here. It's like, how do you keep doing this? It's almost how it feels. But can we clarify the Knight of Cups in reverse? We have Leo, Strength in reverse. Can we clarify the Seven of Wands? Okay, the Four of Pentacles. Can we clarify the Five of Swords? We have the World. We have the Ace of Wands. Yeah, so I feel like you view this person as someone who may be exciting, or like has this potential for a spark with them. Like I feel like maybe this is someone who kind of can have that initial spark with people, but it feels like ultimately you've come to understand how this person self-sabotages everything in their life. Like you view this as someone who self-sabotages and ultimately has a level of cowardice in their life and a level of immaturity when it comes to love and emotions. And with the Knight of Cups in reverse, it's kind of giving just like a negative Knight of Cups, where someone doesn't have a solid sense of what they stand for and doesn't really embody, someone who's very unstable. I feel like you view this as someone who's unstable, with the Four of Pentacles in reverse. Like, it's like whatever solid foundation they appear to have or claim to have is easily unsustained, or it's easily broken down. This person does not have a strong foundation, is how you view this person. Maybe you even view this as someone who like uses love as a way to get external validation, or almost like for an ego boost. Like just, yeah, like almost like it's propping up an empty sense of self, but it's always this tower. There's a lack of solid foundation in this person's life. This person that, yeah, you view them very like, oh gosh, I realized, hopefully that wasn't too bad. Literally like 2 dots on this, but I mean, gotta be safe rather than sorry. Yeah, it's like you view this person as also like fixed in their ways. Like it's almost like there's nothing you can do to help or change the outcome. It's like there's something here. Like again, what's coming through is that card that we got that was like, unfinished business casts a shadow over your life. Procrastination is a form of self-sabotage. Is there something else in this person's life that just, I don't know, causes them to, what is that about? Again, but whatever, either way, you view this as someone who self-sabotages before they can reach any conclusion. Or maybe this person has a lack of, it's like maybe there's stuff maybe there's cycles from their past that they need to freaking close out before they can move forward. And it's like kind of frustrating in that way of like, how have you not done that? Like, how have you not seen that deeply needs to happen, or that's really affecting you? But we have no cards indicating the past though. Like we don't have any Five of Cups. We don't have Six of Cups. We don't have Six of Swords. And so it's more like a way this person is. And it's almost like this person sabotages success, like almost intentionally. Like they won't let themselves be happy, or they won't give in to success. Like they're gonna self-sabotage at some point is kind of how it feels. That's how you view them now. How does pile number 2 view this person currently? Yeah, we have between worlds, building blocks. It's almost like, again, there was also this energy of forever being in this state of in between. And so it's almost like you view this person as not solidifying into not being able to move from one stage of their life to another, or it's like they've made a home out of this transitionary state, and they almost only feel comfortable in the transitionary state. It's almost like they're afraid to completely close the door on a past or an old self or things from the past. It's like they dip their toes into the new, but ultimately like to remain in this in-between space. Like they never want to get there is almost how it feels. And that has the element of maybe being afraid. It's either like it's coming through more like they're almost afraid to step into this color. They're afraid to step into the new. It feels less like they're afraid to leave the past behind, because I don't think they like want the past still. It's not like they want to go back to their past, but something about the way they are makes it hard for them to fully step into a new chapter and to build fresh again. Like it's almost like they keep themselves in a broken state or in a state where something can't grow. And it's almost like on purpose, which is the self-sabotage. We have higher power in reverse. All right, we have by the book and then TikTok in reverse. There's an energy here, maybe this person, like viewing this person as someone who kind of struggles to, it's almost like there's like a time wasting element to this person. Like there's almost like this energy of like, don't you realize like your life is passing you by? Like I'm kind of getting this card of you have to create some foundation or some rule book, some direction. Like there needs to be some masculine energy to solidify things. This almost feels like a too much feminine energy. It almost feels like there's like no structure. And I don't even know if you view this person that way, but that's what I kind of imagine when they say, imagine how like the feminine energy is the water and then the cup is the masculine energy. This person feels like water spilled everywhere. That's how they feel. And so then it's like, instead of taking the steps, I want to say to like start building a glass or constructing something for the water to go in, it's like the second we start doing that, there's a part of us that wants the foundation, wants the glass to break so we can sprawl all out again. Like it's almost like maybe that's their comfort zone, is to be in chaos or in havoc or not solid, is almost what I want to say. But it's also an energy of like not following the rules. Like it's like intentionally sabotage. This is giving like a frustration of like a toddler or like a kid, where it's like the kid is like intentionally not following directions and like is almost more entertained by the process of like the process of it not happening. So like, I'm just trying to like say something, for example. So like, imagine if you, and I'm not a mom, but I mean, and so this is kind of far removed from me, but I'm trying to think about it. Like, imagine that you're trying to teach a child something. And so you're giving that, you're showing them how to do something, and you're giving them the guidelines that they can follow and then master it themselves. But it's almost like they're more interested in failing. They're more they'll sabotage it on purpose. Like they'll not do it right on purpose. And that could be like a knock to authority, or someone who has a hard time with authority, someone that is almost like rebellious in that way. Because I think this card says it's not a time for, let me see what this says about that. There's like a lack of respect, but it's like so ingrained in this person at this point where like it's almost it's so ingrained in them that, number one, like you're not a mom, or you're not like someone, you're not this person's authority, and I don't think you even want to be. So it's kind of like that's this the way that this person kind of positions people. They position themselves to fail on purpose because for some reason, they're more comfortable in that energy. And instead of like fully trying and putting their full effort into something, you know, and risking failing. And so this could also be another thing of like a fear of failure. So like, and that's like what the Eight of Pentacles in reverse can be about too. But yeah, there's just something about this person that's very tough. Like you could love this person, but it's like such a struggle because until they decide that they want to work on this themselves, it's almost like the more you try to help this person or the more that you like give them practical help or support, it's almost like the more they don't want to follow that. It's like, yeah. So it's kind of like this cycle that they themselves have to break. Look, so it just says prosperity. So prosperity message. It says, whatever you pursued, a dream, a skill, or a service you're called to will come to you if you're willing to go by the book. You don't need to reinvent the wheel to be successful. Follow in the footsteps of others who have already achieved the things you're striving for. You can learn a lot by observing the structures that are already working. Yeah. Your creative projects and commitment to prosperity are in alignment with the needs of the world, but impatience may tempt you to cut corners to get there more quickly. Stick with what you know works and you will attract abundance. So maybe this person tries to skip steps, or there's just like this desire to do it differently and this really hard time with just going A, B, C, D. And I mean, that's exactly how I feel when I have to put a furniture piece together. But I feel like this is how this person like operates in their life. Yeah. This is a time to learn these laws and conform to them rather than being the rebel and flouting them. I don't know what flouting even means, but I can assume. When this card appears, submit to structure and follow the rules, even if they seem to make no sense. Release resistance, for universal laws will correct any disharmony. Open your eyes to those laws and it'll be easier to go by the book this time. Yeah, like it would just be easy. Yeah, that's the energy. And I mean, this is how you view them. So I know you're here to see how they view you. So let's look at that. It's like this person doesn't want to submit to a higher power. But I don't know. It's in my understanding of people, it's like people can get very, and this is me included and throughout my life, but like there's a tendency for our egos to get very attached to one way of being, and it's usually to protect ourselves from some kind of a pain. And so maybe this person in their past had the experience of like an overly demanding authoritarian parent or something. Either that, or maybe they never had any rules to go by. It feels like one of those two extremes that this person comes from, where they never learned that, or like so like it could be like a lack of it's like a lack of discipline. But on the other side of that, it could be like a protective mechanism, this rebelliousness. But it sabotages their own success. It seems like there's a real pleasure this person has in breaking rules. Just for the sake of it. Okay, so how does this person now view pile number 2? Okay, the Three of Pentacles. Seven of Cups. You guys, I just wanted to say, I don't know if any of you guys watch those like two dermatologist brothers on YouTube, but I feel like this guy really looks like one of them. That's just a random note. But okay, Three of Pentacles, Seven of Cups. How do they view them now? The Page of Wands. The Nine of Swords in reverse. Can we clarify the Three of Pentacles? Six of Cups in reverse. Can we clarify the... Okay, Five of Swords. Can we clarify the Page of Wands? Judgment. Can we clarify the Nine of Swords? Eight of Swords in reverse. And then the Five of Wands in reverse. Interesting. So I wonder, there's, I don't know if you guys have had conversations about your past with this person, but I almost feel like this person at this point has more insight into you, and there's almost this energy of this person maybe viewing you as actually somewhat of like a kindred spirit. Like this person views you that way. And it's almost like they are aware maybe of some experiences you've had within your past or childhood that led to like self-sabotaging behaviors in yourself. But I feel like this person views you as someone who's able to sort of rise above negative internalized ideas about themselves. Like this person views you as someone who has been able to overcome that. And they view you as someone who's kind of in this exploratory energy with the Page of Wands. Someone who likes to explore different possibilities, or that you're in a phase in your life where you are exploring your options. And it's almost like, okay, so there is something similar about you. That's what's interesting. So I feel like maybe why you guys were drawn to each other, like something you guys have in common, I would even say is, I think you guys are like a leader, that, or this person views you that way. Like there's an energy coming through on your end of also being someone who kind of does what they want, or likes to not be in a subservient position. Someone who likes to be free of the constraining binds of society or social norms or whatever our parents wanted us to be. This person views you as someone who's kindred to them in that way. Like, yeah, someone who has been learning or is continually releasing worst case scenarios and fears when it comes to being an exploratory energy in life. Like they view you as someone who is not like in the Matrix. Like I feel like this person has respect for you in that sense. It just seems like this person respects your ideas, or they see you as a team player, or someone who's very good at respecting other people's ideas, and they don't see you as like this authoritarian person that imposes like your ideas on someone else. I feel like they view you as someone who just wants to be free. Like they view you as someone who seeks freedom in life and seeks to free yourself of constraining fears and restrictions, and like being stuck in thought paradigms that hold you down or hold you back in any capacity. But yeah, they also view you as someone who's maybe had difficult experiences in childhood though. Yeah, so again, there's just like this sense of a kindred spirit within you, like that between the two of you is how they really see you that way. Yeah, and the star, it's like you are this star energy, like Aquarius. Like they view you, I don't know if you have Aquarius energy or you just are very much like embracing this kind of energy of valuing the differences in people, and you don't come across like someone who wants everyone to fit in or doesn't want like different opinions, you know? But they also view you as someone who like they feel like you don't want any conflict with anyone. I feel like you're someone who maybe like has some level of not like maybe some level of people pleasing. Like you don't like to conflict with other people. You just mainly want your freedom. Maybe you avoid conflict on some level. It's like this person just feels like you're more focused on yourself rather than like a battle with anyone else, or it's almost like you don't even care that much to work with others though. Like maybe you guys are kind of more of like someone who likes to work for themselves or likes to have a lot of autonomy. Like they view you as someone who likes to have a lot of autonomy. And it's almost like because you don't want to have to deal with other people's opinions and such, you know? you don't want to be restricted or constrained or confined. So you have like a very positive expression actually of this person's energy. And this came through in pile number 1 too, but it's like, I feel like there's this pattern coming through in these readings of like the listener being this positive mirror or this positive example of how an energy can be more healthily expressed. And how like maybe past wounds can be used constructively rather than destructively. Because it almost feels like this person still seeks out or still gets involved in these situations where they wreak havoc on them because they don't follow the rules or they don't want to be told what to do or they don't want to compromise, you know? But it's almost like there's some level of attachment to those situations, whereas I feel like there's this just freedom coming through on your side, if anything, that you seek freedom and enlightenment and having your options open and being able to explore and yeah, releasing fear essentially. So it's like you might not be super focused on a really fixed foundation, but you still have structure in some capacity. All right, how does pile number 2's person currently view them? Or how do they view them now? Yeah, we have orphaned. I'm not surprised. We have the fates. Yeah, this makes total sense. Okay, we have fork in the road in reverse. We have imagine in reverse. And then we have why here. So yeah, with orphaned, this card talks about like recognizing, like maybe you were a black sheep of your family and maybe this person really resonates with that too. But I feel like there's this energy of accepting, rising from this orphan status, like rising where it's like in this orphan card talks about not being like understanding that when we're not meant to be understood by everyone or everyone isn't going to value our unique selves. And so with the fates here, it talks about learning to control what we can control and releasing the rest. And so I almost feel like you have this energy of accepting your differences and making it work for you to a point where you don't have to like control other people. It's like you just kind of go your own way is how it seems. It's like, yeah. And then with imagine here, I feel like it's like you're definitely this dreamer kind of a person where it's almost like all you've wanted is to have the freedom to make your own decisions with the fork in the road in reverse. Like you just like to be in the driver's seat, making your own decisions rather than dreaming about it, rather than feeling like this can only stay in your imagination. This person views you as someone who, so what they wanted me to talk more about is, especially like given that a lot of times when we grow up in a family that we don't necessarily resonate with, our dreams and what we want to create for our life, what path we want to go down, can be something that other people don't approve of. And that's where the 5 of Swords comes in, is like this energy of like people having told you can't do it, or that isn't appropriate, that isn't okay. And the 5 of Swords, and if it's accepted, that would then sabotage you on your path because it hurts your self-worth essentially. And so I feel like this person knows you've had the experience of maybe having your self-esteem or your self-worth not be super validated by the environment you grew up in, yet nonetheless you still strive to have the freedom and you create the freedom to pursue your dreams. And that's what the 7 of Cups can be about too. Like follow your imagination and not worry about the worst case scenarios, and freeing yourself from any situation where you feel like you can't actually go after it. Like it's like this person views you as someone who is able to overcome that or has overcome that and is very much this star. Yeah. And again, this Y card coming through, it feels like with Judgment, it's like this person views you as someone who's very clear on the reason behind what you're doing, even if it hasn't come fully into structure yet, like even if you haven't fully formed a foundation, there's a rhyme and reason behind what you do, and you know that you do things for the right reason, or that you do things in accordance with your values. And I feel like with this person, it's almost like they don't know why they're doing things. And I feel like when Y is in reverse, and that came through in the beginning, is that this person does things telling themselves that they're doing it for one reason, but actually it's for another reason. And in the book, it talks about, like, for example, we can tell ourselves that we still love our ex-partner, but actually deep down, we just want to get the last word with them. Like, for example. And so I feel like this person struggles with that same thing, where it's like they maybe set themselves up in situations where they're not going to be happy, or like where there is a lot of structure or rules or something. Just for example, for this person, which is obviously not going to be successful for them. Telling themselves, this is like what I want, or this is what I need to do, only to sabotage it, because deep down there's a part of them that gains satisfaction from messing things up or not doing what people expected out of them. There's almost like this joy in disappointing other people or not following through. That's what I would say. Yeah, so for this extended reading, I want to look at what this person's intentions have always been towards you, what they were in the past and what they are now. I want to see how this person felt about you in the past versus how they feel about you now. So we'll do another side-by-side situation. And then I want to see this person's likely next actions towards you, or where this connection is likely headed, and then just guidance for you on whatever you need to hear about this connection, whatever you need to know from a higher perspective, from your guides and the spirits that love you. And it just could be about this connection, but also just wherever you're at in life, and to give this a little more context and meaning in your life. So I'll have that link down below. Thank you to everyone who does support that. And if you found this video helpful or interesting, if you're able to hit the like button, to leave a comment, I deeply appreciate everyone who does that and participates. And if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe, join the fam. I would love to have you, so you don't miss out on any future pick a card readings. Make sure you guys put your notifications on if you are enjoying these videos. Other than that, it's been an honor to read for you, and I hope to connect with you again soon. Hello, pal number 3. Welcome to your reading. If you chose the Black Tarot with this Garnierite Palm Stone, this is going to be a reading where we're looking at how this person that you're asking about viewed you then. So when you met this person or were getting to know this person, what was their impression of you? How did they view you once they started getting to know you a little bit too? And then we're going to look at how they view you now and kind of see what's changed or what's different. So I am going to be doing this where I'm going to be looking at both sides. So I'm going to look at how you viewed this person in the past on the left side, and then how they viewed you in the past on the right side. And then I'm going to do the same for now. And I'm doing that just in case a reading is mirrored for you or flip-flop, like you feel like the left side is your person's, resonates more, just flip it to make sense for your situation. And then also it should work as an energy check-in for you guys. So hopefully at least one of these sides resonate for how you viewed this person in the past or now. Okay, so we're going to start off with how you viewed this person in the past. How did pal number 3 view this person when they were first getting to know them? And I'm trying to not get just like first impressions based on like looks or anything. It's more like when you're getting to know someone and you kind of have put together a pretty solid idea of who that person is, just like that initial energy there though. So I feel like the first couple weeks of knowing someone is kind of what I'm getting at. Okay, one more. So how did pile number 3 view this person before in the past? We have the Ace of Swords in reverse. We have the Page of Cups. We have the Hermit, Virgo energy. The High Priestess. Okay, definitely getting a very like veiled energy here. It was already starting to come through when the Hermit came out that I feel like there's a lot that you didn't really understand about this person. There's sort of like a mysterious vibe about them. Yeah, like with the Hermit, it just makes me feel like this person doesn't give a lot away in the beginning, and then the High Priestess came out just to confirm that, especially with the Ace of Swords in reverse. Can we clarify the Ace of Swords in reverse? Okay, here's the Knight of Wands. Can we clarify the Page of Cups? The Lovers, Gemini. Can we clarify the Hermit? The Star in reverse. Aquarius energy. Can we clarify High Priestess? The Nine of Pentacles. The Magician at the back of the deck. Wow. Super interesting energy coming through. Definitely like a powerful vibe to this person. And definitely flip it if you feel like this is more how you think a person would perceive you. But if you're similar to this person anyway, I would just take that into account. But I feel like you felt very curious about this person's softer side, or like you had a lot of questions about, I want to say like how this person is when their guard is down. Like I feel like, I don't know if you knew them in a situation where you only see them in one setting or something like that. It doesn't have to be that, but it's kind of coming through where I feel like this person keeps a lot to themselves, or it's like this is kind of giving off like the High Priestess energy here of being very independent, and kind of being the type of person that keeps themselves as well. Like, also, like, it's almost this energy of someone who you almost feel like they've been through a lot. You feel like they don't really share their healing process, or like you kind of see this as someone who probably doesn't share their inspiration with other people a lot, or kind of keeps ideas to themselves. Like they have a very rich inner world is how you see them from the past, and it's almost like someone that prefers to kind of like a lone wolf energy. Excuse me. Maybe you felt like this is someone who like only opens up to very specific people, or even maybe this is someone who like you initially wondered what it would be like to be in a relationship with them. Like that might have been something that was really interesting to you, or you might have had the perception that this would be someone who maybe would show their soft side, or would show their more passionate, like open-hearted and innocent side in like a relationship with the Lovers here. Like someone who, but also like there's like an intensity to this energy. Like it's very intense. Yeah. This definitely is coming across like starseed kind of vibe, or if it's not starseed, it's like, it is coming like that. It coming through like that. This is definitely like black sheep of the family vibe. Someone who doesn't need a lot of people around them, who probably has a smaller circle. Yeah, and maybe someone that You know, I don't know. Maybe this person, even this is for some, like maybe you felt like there's like a dual nature to this person. Like on one hand, they can be more, it could go either way. Cause like I feel like either this is someone that you perceive to be externally more, not cold, but closed off and more aloof in a sense. And then you kind of wonder on the inside, feeling like this person only shows like their softer, again, more passionate, more expressive sides, like in more intimate relationships. Or the reverse could be that your impression of this person was that maybe they had a less serious kind of an energy. And this could even be that like your initial perception of them, and like especially if you had like a, because it's interesting that this is meant to be your initial perception, but what I'm trying to say is if you, before you fully met them and like kind of got to know them a little bit better, if you already knew of them, or I just feel like the way you first, like not stereotype them, but it's almost like when you've never talked to someone before, but you kind of just get a vibe from them or they kind of come off a certain way. Like, I feel like their rising sign is what I'm trying to say. I feel like the first impression of this person either came off very like lighthearted and open and loving, to only kind of find out that they kind of are like that, but then only to some extent will they actually open up and show you their process and their journey and how they got to where they are. And like, yeah, it's either it's one or the other, because it's feeling like at first you would never imagine that this is someone who has so much going, because if it's the energy where they came off very lighthearted and open-hearted and such, like I feel like upon getting to know them, you might have started to realize that there's a lot more depth to the person and a lot that you don't see. A lot of unique energy too, especially if this is someone who initially comes off more like stereotypical in a sense, but then to find out that there's actually a lot that makes them very different, and it's not all rainbow and sunshine. And if it's like, if this person comes off more cold, it's not all coldness. It's like there's rainbow and sunshine on the inside. So yeah, there's a dual nature to this person. And with the Magician here, I feel like that's kind of speaking to a level of, it's almost like a shapeshifter vibe with the Magician, like, and it's also like a cloaked energy. Like it's an energy that has everything, like, because like the Magician has all four suits, and it's like at one moment they could be playing on this suit, on another moment they could be playing on the other suit. And so I'm kind of getting the Magician in that kind of an energy where there's like a very skilled, and you view this person as very like socially aware, or definitely very emotionally intelligent, and like upon getting to know them a little bit better, you realize how not like crafty they are, but how skillful. Like there's a skillful energy to this, and how wise they are. Like this person is very wise. But I just heard, what big hands you have, Grandma. What big eyes you have. And so again, that's like the wolf in sheep's clothing. So I'm not necessarily getting that. It's not coming through that intensely, but it's coming through like that, but just as an example of that dual nature to something where it's appearing one way, but then upon looking closer, you start noticing that there's more behind the kind of appearance of it, the person. And maybe you feel like this is someone that you initially misread, or that you feel like a lot of other people misread. Okay. I'm going to use this deck, actually. How did pile number 3 initially view this person then, upon getting to know them? We have journey, adjacent possibilities. We have thinking woman, then the world here. I'm getting from this that, again, with the adjacent possibilities in reverse, there's that vibe of, what I'm seeing is realizing that there's like a universe inside of someone, or realizing that there's so much more to something, or so many possibilities with the adjacent possibilities, and kind of realizing that there's a lot more complexity to how this person can show up. And I feel like with journeying in the world here, there's a sense of a realization around how this, okay, like for example, it's like almost someone who's more worldly, or, and this could be internal or external, like someone you wouldn't expect that actually has like a lot of experience under their belt, or it's like they've been through a lot, or they've traveled a lot, or they've seen a lot of the different aspects of life. And so there's a very nuanced and like a very cultivated person and a cultivated view of the world. There's a richness this person, but with the thinking woman in reverse, it's almost like you would never guess what they're thinking, or it's almost like you would look at this person and think that they're just, you wouldn't realize that they're literally maybe thinking of something insane, or like having a huge imagination, or the types of complex thoughts that this person has is not something that you expect, is what I'd want to say with the thinking woman in reverse. Like there's a very, this is just like an energy of realizing that a person is not like cookie cutter. Like it's a very, open-minded and cultured vibe is like what I'm getting. And it's giving like defying stereotypes a little bit is what's coming through. Like someone that, like, oh, like let's say you knew someone came from money, so you didn't expect them to be like humble or like aware of different struggles. Like you wouldn't expect them to be involved in, you know, being an advocate for someone or something like that. Like there's almost like something like that with this person, where like don't judge a book by its cover, or you really can't put this person in a box is what I'd want to say. So yeah, you guys might resonate with this being your energy more, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to put this on the other side. So now we're going to see how this person viewed you in the past. And yeah, it's just coming through on this side, like very not mainstream. Okay, so for pile number 3, how did their person view them? Or no, yeah, how did their person view them then or in the past upon getting to know them? Okay, interesting. We have the Devil. We have the Queen of Wands. Capricorn energy with the Devil. We have the Wheel of Fortune. Sorry, I'm just trying to realize. For some of you, this could be how you viewed the person that you're thinking about. I just want to say, but take what resonates. I'm going to still speak as if this is how your person viewed you. How did pile number 3's person view them? 6 of Cups in reverse. Can we clarify the Devil? 3 of Wands in reverse. Can we clarify the Queen of Wands? The King of Cups. Can we clarify the Wheel of Fortune? The World in reverse. Interesting. Can we clarify the 6 of Cups? Justice in reverse. Wow. 5 of Pentacles in reverse. Very interesting. So I'm seeing it's coming through very strongly that this person viewed, You know, I might just go into saying this is person A and person B, okay? Because I feel like that's necessary. So, I'm going to say person B viewed person A as something really, someone that's been through a lot of unfortunate events. With Justice in reverse and the Six of Cups in reverse, maybe has never, there's an energy here of getting a lot of tough luck or being someone that was treated unfairly. Like, that's what I'm getting. It's like things didn't come easy to person A from person B's perspective. And I feel like there's also an energy of being let down, of going through a lot of experiences of not succeeding or not getting what they wanted. So it's kind of like what just came through is the Smiths, let me, or please, please, please let me get what I want this time. Says it can make a good man turn bad. So for once in my life, let me get what I want this time. Yeah. So yeah, someone who, yeah, like maybe has felt rejected, or someone who gets the short end of the stick. Someone who has not had a lot of privilege in their life, or someone who has experienced a lot of negative events or negative situations that were out of their control. And yeah, there's just a disappointing energy with the World in reverse and the Three of Wands in reverse. Because that's also giving, for me, it's like maybe someone who hasn't been able to travel or hasn't been able to see the cool things of life, or like hasn't had the opportunity in some way to hasn't had the resources or hasn't had a solid foundation. They've been dealt a bad hand of cards, and it's almost like they haven't been exposed to a lot of the better things in life, or it's almost like it's like the world has let them down a lot. But still, with the Queen of Wands and the King of Cups here, it's giving an energy of someone who has retreated. And even though there's been these negative events in this person's life, they still have this emotional intelligence and emotional maturity and this level-headedness along with confidence. Like, even if they haven't received a lot, or even if they have gotten the short end of the stick, or even if they've been treated, not had the best luck in life, or not had the greatest hand again. Yeah. I want to see the Devil. Can we clarify the Devil in reverse, or the Devil upright? The Four of Swords. Yeah, and even it could be like, there just could have been like, I'm even getting like, I don't want to say anything too strong, but kind of realizing that this person has had to recover and heal from a lot of negative energy, and people may be using them even, or I don't know, it almost feels like people have like used this person or kept them bound. Like, this person's been bound or tied to situations that have kept them from expanding in the way they deserve to, or from reaching the level of success that they're capable of. It's kind of giving Cinderella, like a little bit of Cinderella energy coming through. And like, I don't know if like there was addiction around this person, or it could even be that just for some of you, maybe this person like fell into addiction because of the difficulties. Maybe this person is recovering from addiction. But yeah, it's like they couldn't catch a break. And it's almost like when life just keeps kind of beating you down, you can stop believing in your believing in, or you can stop living in this way where you're trying to attain like self-actualization. Like I feel like this person A energy is coming through, and this is the perception of each person has, but this is a very worldly energy. And it's interesting that it came through as very worldly. And I was even saying, like, even if a person was like privileged, this could be like a situation where one person had a lot more privilege than the other person. And it's almost like, despite the upbringing, it's almost, there's kind of an opposite energy to these vibes. Does that make sense? Yeah, where it's like it's almost like a flip-flop energy, but like it's like a mirroring, it's like two sides of the same coin coming through. So we have Libra energy here as well. I feel like with the Five of Pentacles in reverse, there's an energy of this, of person A viewing, okay, sorry, this is getting so confusing. I'm just going to say your person again. So your person viewing you as someone that has learned to stop relying on other people, or it's this energy of no longer expecting assistance or help from anyone. It's like the opposite of entitled energy. Like entitled energy being where you feel like you should be treated special. Like this person feels like never expects that. Like because they've experienced so much difficulty or negative experiences and maybe like a lack of success, it's like they've learned that they can't really rely on, they don't seek to control anything. Like there's a surrendered energy here, because it's like, it's almost that energy of low expectations, or it's the opposite of that. So it's like having very low expectations, and almost living in the moment. And being detached. There's a sense of detachment then, because if you've never been able to rely on the structures around you or the people around you, that can create a person who doesn't seek their senses, doesn't seek belonging then. So it's kind of interesting that it was coming through as, because especially if the person on the left, like that was coming through as like being viewed first maybe as like more cookie cutter, or someone that is like privileged in a sense, but then underneath it realizing that there's a very nuanced and wise, because like there's a very independent energy of someone who keeps secrets to themselves, has this secret knowledge, this secret wisdom that they don't share with everyone, has a whole world inside of themselves that's very unique. And it's someone who does walk to the beat of their own drum. And I feel like it's interesting because you maybe wouldn't expect that. And then on this side, it's coming through like, and flip-flop that if you have to, in case that it's still that the person came off more guarded. But no, I'm not getting that. I'm almost getting that the initial energy is almost like this person who's being viewed as you know, what I was just describing, everything to do with having like sort of like a bad lot in life, or like an unfortunate, like getting the short end of the stick, they realize that they might have misjudged this person, the other person, if that makes sense. But I am getting, regardless, that the person who has the deep inner world has kind of come to understand or realize how another person has been disadvantaged or held back in their life. But regardless, is still very confident and emotionally mature and wise. This is coming through like Shameless. You know, the show Shameless? That kind of vibe where you're used to having to do everything yourself. Like you don't expect things to go well or to go to plan. Yeah. Okay. So let's get some Oracle cards. Yeah, and I just saw a leg up in reverse, and that card talks about feeling like you have to do everything on your own. And I feel like the devil's here also because it's like a sort of like a short-term energy, or someone that's thinking more in the short term because they're not used to being able to rely on things following a plan or things going according to plan. So it's more like living day to day or living for the moment. Okay. So how does pile number 3's person initially view them, or upon getting to know them more? We've come to the edge in reverse. We've unfinished symphony. To the sea in reverse. Not for you in reverse. Soulmates in reverse. Happy in reverse. Yeah, there's something here about with unfinished symphony. That's like the world in reverse. Like, it feels like there's something that's been unsuccessful in this person's life. And it's like because they have experienced enough disappointment, they've learned to no longer try as hard. Because I feel like with not for you here, it's like no matter, this can be an energy of like no matter how hard you try, you're not going to be able to make something work, or something isn't going to be successful for you. But I've never actually gotten this card in this context. And so in this context, when it's in reverse, it's almost like someone who is more pessimistic than they expect things to go wrong. And so they don't, even if they're unhappy, this person may be someone who doesn't see how they could change things, or doesn't like, it's almost like their level of ambition has been impacted, where I feel like, for example, if you're someone who grew up with like oh god, there's a bee on my window. But I was going to say, if you grew up with a lot of opportunity and you've experienced a lot of success, it kind of sets you up to have that self-esteem of, you know, putting yourself out there and going for opportunities and kind of, you know, thinking it's going to go well. And, you know, there are situations in life where no matter how much you try to control a situation, it's just not going to happen for you. Like, but there's also other situations where we can get conditioned to believe that the world is going to treat you bad. And I'm thinking like the opposite of this energy would be like Kim Kardashian. Like, I've been watching the Kardashians on Hulu. And she just goes after like all these opportunities and like pushes herself out of her comfort zone and has this like insane belief in her, or like she really believes in herself and kind of just does things that even I am like, I just don't have that. Like, I feel like because she's experienced enough times putting herself out there in something and getting a lot of recognition for it, then you just are able to continue doing that. And it's like, whereas this side, it's like the world is your oyster. This side feels like the world is not your oyster. Like, you really shouldn't expect anything or expect anything from the world. Don't expect the world to bring you any happiness or other people to bring you any happiness. And there's an energy of like viewing this this person viewing you, I guess, if this is your energy more, as someone that maybe doesn't like to push themselves out of their comfort zone or doesn't like to go out on a whim. This is also a guarded energy where it's like it would be hard to get close with this energy because they have had bad experiences with people in the past too, and like situations they don't easily trust. There's like trust issues here. And there's also like an innate feeling of not like it's almost I do have to say, even if this person comes off confident and emotionally regulated, you maybe would be then surprised to find out that there's this internal sense of lack of self-belief. There's a lack of self-belief here and a feeling of not believing in your potential despite being someone who's so like cool is like what I'd want to say. I feel like your person viewed you as someone who's very attractive and very smart and emotionally intelligent, and almost like not understanding why a person like this who's so great acts in this way of like being held back by fear and doesn't like to push themselves to want more in their life. Like, this is an energy who doesn't seek more for themselves. And it's like, I feel like whoever's viewing this is like not understanding that or is confused about why they don't seek more, why they don't go for opportunities, why they like to like hold themselves back in a sense. Yeah, that's kind of sad. If that is your energy, I hope we can get some messages for you in the extended reading, which there is going to be an extended reading, which I feel like I might focus. I'm not going to pick the topic right now, but it's going to be on whatever just makes the most sense to extend upon. But now we're going to look at the energy now. And so I could see this being a very interesting duo because I feel like there's a similarity between these two. Like, there's a common thread of independence and a removal from the world. Like, there's almost a removed energy from society in a sense. And like, even if someone on the surface fits in really well, it's like there's still this energy of a connection to self, though. There's still a strong connection to self and a reliance on self on both sides. Okay. So how does pile number 3 view this person now? So again, this could be flip-flop. So we're going to be extending upon whoever was perceiving this person as being like having that world inside of them and being someone who has a lot of wisdom or has a lot that you wouldn't expect about a person that potentially either seems like they are more of a lightweight energy. It's almost like, yeah, I feel like someone here seems like more of a lightweight energy, but actually has this intensity that's kind of unexpected. But anyways, how are they viewed now? How is this person being viewed now by the other? We have the Four of Cups. We have the King of Cups in reverse. We have the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Nine of Wands, and then the Magician popped out in reverse as well. Okay, can we clarify the Four of Cups? Ace of Pentacles. This is so interesting. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Can we clarify the King of Cups in reverse? We have the Ten of Cups. Can we clarify the Eight of Pentacles? We have the Moon in reverse. Cancer. Can we clarify the Nine of Wands with the Magician? Nine of Cups in reverse. The Five of Swords at the back of the deck. Wow. So this is a very different viewpoint. Because I feel like this energy has gone from just wondering if the piles flip-flop, because I feel like this energy is more in alignment with what I was just describing. But how you view this person now is in this energy of not being connected with their inner emotions, or not being it's like almost a realization that this person hasn't gotten what they wanted with the Nine of Cups in reverse. Okay, I just feel like this is flip-flop, because it's now coming through like this person's energy is a person that doesn't take opportunities and is almost like with the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. That can be a card of like being a perfectionist, or it's like where you don't put work into something, or you don't want to work super hard on something, or you procrastinate out of fear here with the Moon. And it's like a fear of not getting what you want. So this is really interesting. I might need to pull the other side, because what's coming through is almost a realization. This fits more for the other side of almost realizing that this person has, because of what they've gone through, they preemptively don't take opportunities because they're afraid that they're going to fail, or that they're not going to get what they want. So it's almost like their way of self-protection to sabotage things with the Five of Swords here. There's a self-sabotaging energy coming through. Okay, and so I'm wondering now if in the past, and something maybe that I didn't pick up, is that you may have viewed this person as someone who, because I was getting that there's a whole world of opportunity, or like there's a lot of different things going on with this person, but I wonder if there's someone who has a lot of opportunities available to them, or a lot of doors that they could go down. But with the Hermit energy and the High Priestess, it's possible that in the past, there could have been this question as to why don't they, you guys are mirroring each other so much that it's hard to decipher it. It's like, there's almost like one person is revealing the other person's shadow self, because it's crazy to say, but it's like what I was just describing, the person who your perception of them, oh my God, let me put this into words, you guys. Let me just like take a second I'm so sorry for all the rambling in this so far, but it's like the person who is coming through as not taking opportunities, or someone who has had like a difficult life or like failures in their life, or not failures, but have had like unsuccessful situations where they didn't get what they thought they were going to get. They're wondering why the other person, it doesn't take more advantage of who they are, or like, why don't, like, I wonder if like there's an image of like, not envy, but like, it's not envy. It's more like when, let's say you've come from a more disadvantaged background, and then you see someone who has more privilege, you almost might assume that they are a certain way, or you might assume that, and it might be true, you might correctly assume that there's just so much that this person probably does, or that this person, there's a realization of being similar here at the very least. Because I feel like if in the past this person on the left was being seen as, or this energy that's coming through on the left side was being seen as very open-hearted and like optimistic and courageous and passionate, almost like someone who would take a lot of, who comes off like someone who has traveled a lot, who does follow their passions, who does follow their dreams, only to find out like that there's a more hidden side of that person that was a lot more deep and kind of intense and mysterious. But it's like now there's a realization that this person struggles emotionally, or from their perspective is someone that doesn't try in certain aspects because they were being viewed as so magical and so capable and so like having everything you need to create whatever you want. That's how this person was being perceived in the beginning, like someone who has everything, you know, but realizing that this person isn't as happy as you thought they were, like, yeah, realizing that this person isn't as happy as you thought they were, and that they actually deal with a lot of difficulty or difficult energies around them, that they've had their fair share of struggles, is what I'd want to say. Regardless of appearances, it's realizing that there's an emotional complacency where maybe with the 10 of Cups here, it's always been a situation where there's been a feeling of having to sacrifice independent needs or wants for what would make everyone else happy. And so there's almost this recognition of a lack of emotional self-awareness. Realizing that there's a lack of emotional self-awareness. And it's like the realization of you think that you can get everything you want, or you're supposed to be happy, but somehow you're not happy with what you've gotten. Like, I feel like it's almost a realization that maybe someone was very seemingly privileged, and on the surface, it looked like maybe they had a lot. It's like under the surface, though, there's a lot of fears, or a lot of pressure on them to be perfect, and almost an energy of self-sabotaging, because maybe there's been a lot of expectations on them. And so it's almost like a fear of even taking opportunities because maybe this person has had opportunities pushed on them that they either aren't even what they personally want, or there's a lot of pressure on them to succeed, or there's a lot of pressure on them to do it a certain way or to do things a certain way, to a point where they want to protect themselves by not trying, by not putting their full effort into things. Like they would rather fail sooner than later. Like they just set themselves, they want to fail so they don't have to be disappointed later. So, but that's kind of like what was already coming through on this side. So let me see what comes through on this, and then we'll kind of get this better. I feel like whatever makes most people happy doesn't make this person happy. And I feel like there's maybe a lot that's very different about this person. And maybe what makes them happy or what they'd really be interested in isn't encouraged by those around them. And so maybe they feel like they're in a lose-lose situation anyways with the Five of Swords, where it's like, either yes, there's this opportunity here, but it's not as good as it seems, because either way, it's like, it's almost like even if I take the opportunity and I try for it, either I'm not going to even want what it comes with or what it's about, even though everyone else thinks it's the best thing in the world, or it's like what I should do. It's not how I feel, so I'm not going to get the feeling of gratification. Other people are going to look at it and be like, wow, that's just the epitome of success, or the epitome of like what a happy person looks like. Or, like, for example, like, let's say someone gets a job opportunity to work at Google or something, or Apple, or, they're expected to get married in a certain, like, to a certain kind of person, or live a certain kind of life, to a certain kind of standard, and it's like, despite all that's available to this person, it's like realizing that despite all they've had available to them and maybe given to them, they still don't want it. And so there's like kind of revelation going on, I feel like, for maybe both people eventually, but it's like, it's seeing the dark side of what can look like such a good situation. It's a defense mechanism, though. It's a defense mechanism. It's also a rebellion here, but in a way that feels fair. Okay. So how can we look at the other side of this now? How does pile number 3's person view them now? How is this reversing? We have the Hermit, the Knight of Pentacles, the High Priestess in reverse. We have the King of Pentacles in reverse with Death. Can you clarify the Hermit? Six of Swords in reverse. Can we clarify the Knight of Pentacles? The Tower. Can we clarify the High Priestess in reverse? The Eight of Pentacles. Can we clarify the King of Pentacles in reverse? The Nine of Cups. Ace of Swords in reverse. Very interesting energy here, to say the least. And this is what's tough about these kinds of readings, is realizing that because we're working on people's perception, it's possible that that it's not accurate, because the energy coming through here is so different from the past. So in the past, the person on the right was viewed as someone who holds themselves back in life out of fear. because of all the negative things they've experienced. But here they're being seen as misunderstood for sure with the Ace of Swords in reverse. There's a realization that they misunderstood this person, which is so interesting because the Ace of Swords came through on the other side before, where I just think this is like a situation where each person probably has learned a lot about not judging a book by its cover, or like realizing that you don't really understand why people are the way they are. There's so much complexity to it, but there's a realization that this person isn't holding themselves back from what they want. They just didn't want the same sorts of things like the key. Sorry, let me just look at this. It's like a realization that this person on the right is in this active process of transformation. And it's this energy of not wanting anyone to be the boss of them. Like, this person doesn't like to rely on other people. That's still true, but they very much are not sabotaging their life. They are very much putting their own energy into what makes them happy. And maybe that was viewed, maybe because your person assumed that maybe your person assumed in the past that the things that they thought were successful, or like, it's like they didn't understand that what you were doing was what you wanted to be doing, if that makes sense. That you're not, which is really interesting because that's exactly a similar energy on this side. This is so confusing because there's themes that go across each side, because it's like, you would think that the person on the left would understand the energy of going for things that don't actually make them happy. But maybe there's been a lot of time that's passed, but either way, the energy on the right here is now being viewed as someone who's been rebuilding. Like, yes, there's been tower moments where certain things didn't work out for them, or like maybe this person decided to quit or something. Like, it's possible that, like, I don't know if there's like a workplace environment or something like that, but either way, this person on the right is a very independent person. Because the Hermit was on this side. There might have been projection here, where if this is how you viewed your person, okay, maybe you thought, okay, let me just clarify everything here. Let me put some food for thought. I wonder if in the past you viewed your person as like, you might have projected your own energy onto them, like thinking that there was a lot of depth and mystery to a person, thinking that they're very powerful, thinking that they, maybe are an ideal kind of like lover, or maybe thinking that there was a lot underneath the surface that was intriguing. I feel like you felt that about this person. But I feel like here, there's a realization of how disconnected this person actually is from themselves. And I want to say that they actually have a tendency to not go for things that really make them happy on the inside. They don't want to have to fight for... I feel like you gave this person a lot of credit and saw them as this very colorful, wonderful person that is very courageous and unique, and you just don't see everything. But it's actually realizing that there's a lot less of an impressive energy. Like, I feel like you put this person on a pedestal to realize that they actually are the kind of person who is okay with not pushing themselves out of their comfort zone. Because especially if this person on the outside has this, maybe they are attractive, maybe they do have come from a family that has a lot of money or opportunities. This person is okay with going along with the current, actually. Is okay with going along with the current because like they might have come off like someone who's resilient, or like you may have initially felt like this was a resilient person, but I feel like that's not really true necessarily. Like, I don't think that this person, from your perspective now, really faces their fears very much. Like, this is someone who doesn't really want to have to do things the hard way. Because I was just saying the opposite, because I just think your viewpoint of this person has flip-flopped a lot as well, where you can't tell if this is someone who is like you or not. That's the biggest question I think you have, is like, is this person like me? Because I feel like your person misjudged you as being the way you are or doing the things you do because what you're doing isn't the standard of this 10 of Cups, right? And so, you know how I was just saying how this person, I was saying that they self-sabotage the things that would actually be what they want. And so I feel like what I said was true. They're emotionally unfulfilled is what you're realizing about this person. They're emotionally unfulfilled, and they don't have a spiritual warrior kind of a mindset. They are okay with being in this lose-lose situation for themselves. Like, it's actually, what's crazy is the way this person judged you is how they actually are. They're actually the people that are not pushing themselves out of their comfort zone, stretching the limits to really create happiness for themselves. Yeah, so this is what I think. I think that this is a person who doesn't see success as internal happiness. And I feel like you see success as internal happiness. And that's where the mix-up is like, it's almost like you saw all that this person has or comes off like they have a lot, that you almost assume that there must be someone that appears that way or comes off that way must have so much inner richness too, only to realize that they don't have that inner richness. They don't have that inner fulfillment. They don't have that connection with themselves. And you do, though. And I think that your person did see like, wow, this person is so like, they are confident and they're attractive, they're confident, they have everything internal. Why don't they externally try to capitalize on what they have internally, right? And it's almost like it must be like a lack of privilege, or like that they, that they just don't think they're going to be successful. But it's not that. It's that they're building in a different way. You're building in a different way. If this is your energy, you're building in a way that you want to be your own boss and you don't want to be out of tune with yourself. You make decisions through your intuition. And maybe you've been in a process of transformation, so they didn't get to really see what you were creating until later on, you know? Because especially if you walked away from something, or if you decided you didn't want to be a successful, like, this is like, just for example, like, imagine someone who their whole family works in a certain business, and that business makes a lot of money, and they of course automatically have a job at that company, and they have this kind of carefree energy about them, and you kind of assume that they have this internal, like, with all that external privilege, you would imagine that they're, if anyone, who has the most freedom to go on an internal journey, because they can externally support that, right? And so you imagine that if they're this happy on the outside, they must be that happy on the inside. And then I feel like with the reverse, it's like this person looked at you in your life, and from their pedestal that they, or from their idea of what success is, which to them is actually not going for what makes you truly happy. It's conforming to some sort of idea of happiness that everyone else puts a stamp on. And this energy, your energy, you ripped something down. Like, you intentionally didn't want to go back. Like, yes, you have this baggage, but that baggage has made you, and you don't want to go back. So, like, for example, going back to like what I was saying, is that like this side feels like that energy of like who has the family, who's in business, and it's almost like everyone in society looks at them like, obviously they're successful, or, you know, they have a good life. And let's say that this person gets like a job starting at the first level at a company that this person has been working at for a long time because it's in their family. This person shows up, and, you know, they are super intelligent, super high quality employee, but they decide to quit. And it's almost like the person who's been in that family situation thinks that they're self-sabotaging themselves, or thinks that they are not believing in themselves, or they're not ambitious, and that's why they quit. But the reason why they quit was because it wasn't fulfilling them. It wasn't because they didn't think that they couldn't be successful in it. It's that they wanted to walk a different path, and a more solitary path. And you're the true hermit. And I think you thought that this person was a hermit-like energy behind closed doors, or like you felt like there was all these layers to this person, only to realize that they're not really like that. So sorry that this flip-flopped so much. I think it flip-flopped because you projected an energy or a truth onto this person that was actually very similar to your truth. And this person did the same to you. So you guys both projected onto the other person based on your viewpoint. Or like, it's almost like, because I'm conditioned this way, when I see you in this position, I assume that the only way you could be in that position is if XYZ. So like in this case, like for you, you thought the only reason why someone would, like in the job example, be in this kind of like 9-to-5 situation where to you it's obvious that that's not all there is to life, and there's so much else to do and explore. Like there's, you know, or it's like you would assume that this person, yes, they put the 9-to-5 in, but it's so they can enrich their life in other ways. It's like you would think with all that privilege and all that like opportunity that like they would be using that to further their internal personal happiness and their internal personal fulfillment, but instead come to realize that there's a lack of even knowing, there's a disconnection from themselves. And a lot of it's superficial, actually, for your person. And the superficial lens looked at your energy and maybe has seen what you've been through and assumes that all you would want is to be in a situation like them. And so when you maybe turn down or decide to go on a different path or have been on a different path, it's almost assumed that, like, oh, why don't you try to, like, of course everyone would want to be me, is kind of like the energy. Of course everyone would want what I have. So I'm assuming that you want what I have too, because everyone does externally. And so if you're not going after it, I'm kind of assuming it's because, and especially if I know you've had a difficult past or I've learned that about you, it's like, wow, you're so cool internally though. Like, you totally could have this external if you wanted it. And I feel like, so do you see how it's a flip-flop energy where it's like, wow, you have so much externally of, like, you have so much space and opportunity to develop your inner self that it's unfathomable that a person would continue on in this external path at the expense of their internal self. And yeah. And so, but your person is now viewing you as someone that is very fulfilled and is very happy, and someone who has been in the process of transforming. And they may have seen you in a death cycle or where you're releasing or letting go, but it's like you've been reborn and you're completely different, you know? And it's like, it's almost like not understanding that there's like a linear path for success versus a transformative circular path. And you've just been on a very different journey than this person. What they are realizing is that you were never going backwards. You were never letting your past weigh you down or stop your future or prevent you from creating what you wanted. Maybe you were going slower than they realized, or maybe they didn't realize that it was a slower path potentially. But now they recognize that you've been listening to an internal voice all along. That they're starting to see externally how internally driven you are. And yeah, that they misunderstood. They misjudged, misunderstood. In this case, you didn't misunderstand them. I feel like what was coming through is from your first perspective, first getting to know them, you maybe thought that you maybe like colored in this person's world as being more like you. Yeah, you almost like projected out this. And that's why I was saying it's so, like this might be your energy I'm describing, but the reason why it felt like that was because you projected your energy onto this person. The core of your energy. Yeah. And I feel like if you could have known how this person was judging you, you would have been like, oh my God, you are totally like, we are not the same. You would have understood very quickly, but because of the way this person maybe is able to come off, you may have just you maybe didn't realize how you were being viewed, essentially. And I think that would have been offensive to you, or at the very least, you would have realized to what a degree you were underestimated. Like this person underestimated you, and you overestimated them. You overestimated their internal strength is what I'd want to say. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Okay. How do you view your person now? So we're going to get some clarifying oracle cards. How do you view your person now? Okay, blossoming abundance. We have angel of strength. The world in reverse. Man holding a coin. Happy family in reverse. Yeah, so I feel like, again, this is confirming, it's like you viewed this person's external abundance as evidence of this angel of strength energy. Like you felt like this person is calling the shots or deciding for themselves, or that they are this very sovereign, strong being. And I just want to explain, because yeah, you thought you saw a strength in this person. Personal power and inner strength. It's not a time to be passive or submissive, but to speak your truth and take action on your own behalf. You're capable of taking greater control and directing your own destiny, for the power that comes from within reaches out to the universe and beyond. Inner strength and unlimited resources flow through you at this time, helping you create real results. Call upon this wonderful angel and on your own inner resourcefulness to bring the focus and resolve you need to do what's necessary in order to make your dreams a reality. I have all the power I need to achieve all that I want. Like, that's what you thought about this person, is that they're this magician, that they can do anything. And you almost maybe assume based on what they created that was what they wanted to create, or that they have been on this path you've been on. You maybe saw this person as being ahead of you, like, oh wow, this is what it's going to look like on the other side. Yeah, look, it says receiving the world reverse means that you've been severely limiting your view of things. You're thinking too narrowly, either in your options for actions or in what you feel you deserve. You may be feeling boxed into old ways of doing things, not quite sure of how to expand. This calls for you to think creatively outside of the box you find yourself in. Yeah, it's time to break out and see the unlimited horizons around you, and know that the world is waiting for you to take center stage. And before you saw this upright. This card is reminding you to expand your vision and contemplate some broader options. Yeah, you saw this person as worldly, that look, as they say, the world's your oyster, so get ready to gobble it up. Like, drawing this card lets you know that you have unlimited resources available to you. So in the past, you thought that this person's resources around them meant that the world was this person's oyster, and that they had a very worldly side to them. But instead, you're kind of realizing this external material value, but there's actually a lack of happiness. There's a lack of true internal happiness. Okay. And so, however, what your person judged you as, like going like, why aren't they more ambitious? Or like, why don't they expand their horizons, or want more for themselves? I feel like that's exactly what you wonder about this person now. Like, actually, they're the one who has a limited ability to go for what they want or create what they want in life, because they feel pigeonholed into something that doesn't even really emotionally fulfill them, but they're complacent in it. They're actually emotionally complacent. All right, how does pile number 3's person view them now? Yeah, we have patience, like that you were playing a longer game. Yeah, that's your strategy, that there was a strategy behind what you were doing. Even if it was not as apparent at first, even if it took a while to materialize. We have hostilities. Yeah, we have second chakra here, and then a man holding a coin. Yeah, so I'm just seeing that. I feel like your person is realizing that you've had to overcome hostilities towards you or unfair treatment. And it's almost like realizing that it's from the very source of this, people like this person. And with the second chakra, it's like realizing how in tune with your emotions you are and how it's like the Empress energy. It's like realizing that, and realizing that you've had to go about things in this way, or in the way that they saw you in the past. Like there might have been hostilities towards you, you know, like you maybe did have to go about things in a different way, but you weren't in this perpetual state of holding yourself back out of oppression. Like you were never in this oppressed energy. You were just in your process, and you were going to go through rebirth anyways. Very interesting. I'm glad this made sense in the end. Okay, so for the extended reading, I want to look at how does this person feel about you? What would they want to say to you if they had the opportunity, or if they could be completely honest with you, what they want to say? I want to see if they have any regrets, and then I want to get guidance for you on whatever else you might need to hear. So I'm gonna have that link down below. If you guys are not subscribed, please subscribe, so you're able to see future pick a card readings if you're interested. And if you're able to hit the like button, leave a comment. I really, really appreciate everyone who participates in the channel. Thank you so much for doing that. And other than that, it's been an honor to read for you. And thank you for bearing with me during this reading.